3
the
weeks
Creator
of
Cup
group
does
play
announce.
and then 1 weekend for the final bracket.
I don't
And
know
the
if I'm
top
going to
4
participate in this
teams
personally.
are going to have some cool stuff come their way. They're going to get a trip to Titan Forge Studios in June to play in the LAN. So they're going to be here
Where's
in
damage?
person
Sure.
playing live. They're going to get some behind-the-scenes tour of the studios, just a little look
20K!
around where all the magic for Smite happens. A donation to the charity of their choice, with the the amount being based on the final seeding. It'll ebb and flow a little. Some access behind the scenes to Smite 2 development. Get a look at some of the process we've been working through as we continue tirelessly to bring Smite 2 to life and make it the best Smite experience ever, and some other loot and goodies as well, because you can't come here and leave without picking up some loot, plenty of loot to be had around the office. So super excited for this. Again, keep your eyes on the Smite Pro Twitter, keep your eyes between that and the Smite Game Twitter. We'll make sure all the announcements hit y'all as we continue to progress towards the kickoff of this, or if you're interested in signing up with your community, that stuff's on the way, but it's going to be really cool. Like, this is the type of stuff that's always so fun, bringing people in for tournaments like this. I couldn't be more excited, and I hope that y'all are excited as well. We're looking forward to getting into that a little later in the year. So now we're diving into some of the update.
I personally don't know if I want to do this or not.
Kicking it off with some of the skins. So it's time.
I don't think I really have an interest.
It's the time for us to show off something that you
Doing
can't
a
get
content
for the rest of the
cup.
year. We have the Commendation skin coming y'all's way. So first up, we have the Golden Luster Bake Kujira skin.
Dude,
Is this golden legendary
is so
skin?
sick. I know we pick a different god every year, and usually it's the one that's been released, in the
Is this
past
golden
year.
legendary skin?
Yeah.
But this is such a good choice. I mean, he just looks so, like, cool,
In his
ethereal.
element?
Yeah, no, literally in his element, especially in this art as well. I mean,
Yeah.
magnificent.
I don't know who the whale caller is down there, but like me.
Those are already in the game. So what is this
me.
skin
about
then?
to
I'm
get eaten
confused.
Probably, but like super cool. So yeah, don't get banned this year. Be on your good behavior. Play, be a good teammate, and you will earn the skin for yourself as the commendation reward for this year of Smite. So super excited for that, and good luck in your matches and being a good teammate. Next up, we're getting into a new chest.
Why the
coming
fuck
with the
would I ever want
11.2
this skin?
update. This will be the Cosmic Tyranny chest, coming with Cosmic Thrawn Hades.
Yo. Okay.
Look at Hades.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This perspective is kind of wild, right? He's got like a galaxy in his hand.
He looks like that
And then
guy
he's like,
from
"Yeah, you're next, bro."
oh, what's that thing on Amazon? What's
It's kinda
Amazon's
like the point, like 1 minute, you're next. So super
what's
excited
Amazon's
for that.
thingy?
Gotta love me a little. Oh, there he is. Look at his face. He's very serious.
Oh my god, he's got a
Those
little
are
big.
big
creepy
What's
eyes.
Amazon's
eyes,
big
so
show?
It gives him
Cartoon
a little bit of
show.
that alien vibe,
Yeah.
which,
Invincible.
I
It
mean,
looks like the
definitely
Invincible
suits it, right?
aliens.
We haven't really explored this direction quite of Hades.
Mixed
as
with
this kinda like galactic
the
overlord,
big purple
but
dude from
it's a
Marvel.
cool vibe.
The eyes just give me
I'm
the Ayla
losing the
vibes,
names
so
right
I'm
now.
there for it. Absolutely, but no, super amazing skin. And I don't think this is a cross-gen skin, which means we have a Smite 2 render for it. So we should check out the
Ooh.
Smite 2 render.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Bro,
Sheesh.
okay. I've been saying this, but the lighting in Smite 2 is really next level. You can tell with some of these like particle effects that we have in this
Yeah.
render, where they just like shine and reflect off of
Sheesh.
the materials and all that good stuff. It just looks.
You watched the teal one?
I
Nice, blue,
completely
nice.
agree. And this has been one of
No,
my
that
favorite. This is
Merlin
my
was
favorite new
actually
addition to the
horrible.
update show. Is we're getting to show off now
That
all
looks
of
good.
these renders as we're able to, and just so exciting. So
Yeah, no,
next
Blue.
up,
That guy
moving
was
down the
had
skin
all
line,
the
we have
farm on our
Immortal honor
team
event. Now,
and
if
did
you saw the
literally
update
nothing.
show
Got picked
that
and was
happened
awful.
live at World on Stage. That was cool. I love it.
And the guy was like,
you heard me talk about the Immortal honor event. The event runs
FPL
all year.
players,
It's
4
2
and
skins per
6
update.
and,
you could,
2 and
you
10,
could have already bought it all, which
FPL
means you're just
player.
getting 2 skins per update for the rest of the year, or you can do it in chapters. You can do it individually. It's completely
yeah,
up to you.
no, Sam, that was
But
not
the
a fun
Immortal honor
game.
event's
Our
getting 2
comp
new
was
skins.
so
It's a new
bad.
update. So to show those off, we're gonna kick it off with "Kiss Me XOXO Aphrodite." Very appropriately timed for this time of year, or for this exact day, I guess, too.
Yeah,
huh?
true. Goddess of Love confirmed on Valentine's
That's
Day.
Afro?
True. And I like that you use the word confirmed there, because if a skin is cross-gen, that means that God is going to be in Smite 2.
Yeah, no, that guy
So
is Omega
is
boosted blue.
Aphrodite confirmed Smite 2? Would you look
Tragic
at
game
that?
to have
That's
Leo,
crazy.
whatever his
What
name
a
is.
good time, like you said.
Yeah, we're spoilering stuff.
Bro, and
So-
this skin's so fun. I love these like gamer.
I was about to say, she's got
skins.
the gamer.
They're so funny. The voice packs especially. I think Tina had a hand in this one, so I'm sure you guys are gonna love it.
When Tina has a hand in a voice pack, you know you're in for something special. It's just kind of universally true. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I mean, again, I'm a huge fan of the gamer thing, all the digital
I don't know, I'm not a
vibes, the
fan.
color schemes. Absolutely incredible. And here in just a sec, we should be able to see a a Smite 2 render as well.
Oh boy.
Nice.
It
Absolutely love it.
It looks so good. All like I said, the textures, the materials, they're like kicked up to 10. You know what I mean? Even past 10. They could
Yeah.
go into 11 here.
Well, let's
Yeah,
check
it
this
looks
out
the
in-game
same.
in Smite 1.
It
Let's be
kinda
clear,
looks the same,
we're not
I won't
spoiling
lie.
Smite 2 in-game yet. You gotta wait a little longer. But in Smite 1, let's check this
Ooh.
out.
Wait, that means Afro's in Smite 2. Fuck!
The
Oh,
basic
completely
attacks,
agree.
dude. Yeah.
The pulsating
Fuck!
like digital heart thing.
God,
Absolutely
fuck!
great.
All the little particles coming off of the basic.
God damn it.
Oh, that's so fun. It's a
Yeah.
little dance floor.
It's a little boogie
Partying
time.
with your soulmate.
And you know, just to
Fuck!
continue to
Afro's
repeat
in
this,
Smite 2, bro.
owning this skin
It's
means
over.
that you will have it in Smite 2 when Smite 2 releases. It'll be part of the initial roster available to you as long as your accounts are linked. So you get it now. You're able to have it in Smite 2. Everything you're seeing here already looks good. But
I'm
as
not a
Lermy had
fan,
mentioned
I won't
earlier,
lie.
you have that beautiful new lighting you get to look at in Smite 2 as
That
well.
means Hades too,
it's a lot
Deshaun.
to be excited about. So if you don't have the
Am
Immortal
I the
Honor
only one
event,
not a
you might want to
fan?
think about picking it up because
You
it's
guys like this
24
skin?
skins Smite 1, 24 skins Smite 2, and I don't know. I just couldn't be more excited about this. Smite 2 is just. It's amazing. So let's keep moving before I talk
I
myself
kinda
into
don't
a
like this
circle
game.
here with a kind of a relevant to Valentine's next skin. We have Onyx Blade Susanoo.
We did not.
We did.
we did not.
We did.
Okay. All right.
That
Well,
looks pretty
e-couples
cool.
know that you have a place in Smite 2.
Yeah.
Because you've got
I
your
mean,
other
Susanoo's in
half.
Smite
Other
2.
half right here, confirmed Smite 2. Now, you know, they have different jobs, obviously. One of them, the queen of the internet.
That looks
One of
cool.
them, Slayer of Dark Skeletons and Forces of Evil, maybe? I don't know. The sword looks a little evil itself, but
Oh,
Yo.
Jesus, it does not look
that
good
is
in
so
game.
cool, dude.
Love the glimmer on the.
Yeah,
What the
like,
fuck
yeah,
happened?
Oh, that's so
It has
What the
belt.
fuck happened to him?
That many belts? Can we be honest here for a second?
What
There's
happened?
a belt
He looks
number
so
to
cool.
coolness ratio, and
What the
Susanoo is on
fuck?
top of this.
I guess so, man. You know, he knows
He
more than
looks
me,
so
I guess, in
good.
that regard.
Yeah, I mean,
What
same.
happened
I just,
to
you know,
him?
I read once. He told me we were talking earlier. He was like, the more belts, the better. So let's check
Surely
out
in
the
Smite 2, he
render for
looks
this skin.
awesome.
Yes, please.
Okay, there we go. There we
The way
go.
metal looks too.
Now that's better.
I mean,
Like just the texture of the fabric.
Well, that's
it
better.
feels like so much more,
Jesus.
like realistic is like maybe not quite
That's
the word,
better.
but like
That
it
is
feels
way
like
better.
They have such a big stark difference.
Yeah.
Between like that and the skin and
That
the
actually looks
metal
like the
and
card
hair,
art.
Just
Oh my
everything
God.
feels really like more tangible. You know what I mean?
yeah. So Susanoo
In
confirmed
Smite 1,
2,
it's
two
gray, and
amazing
Smite
skins
2, it's black.
with the Immortal Honor event.
The
And
colors
if,
of
again,
the
if you hit
skin?
by all, you're
What
just
the
gonna get
fuck?
them.
What
It'll be that
happened?
way. I'll be saying that for the rest of the year. Every update we have what? I don't know, 10 more updates. I'll just be like, you already have them. You hit by all. If you haven't yet, that's fine. If you want one or the other, buy it individually. If you want all of them for like the first chapter of the year, which it might be quarter, there's a chapter system. Buy that if you. It's completely up to you. So, but either way,
What is happening?
They're all going into Smite 2. And something else that I want to touch on is, you know, legacy gems, right? We've talked a lot about
Oh,
those, and y'all have
just
heard us
stop
say a lot.
bringing it up,
For those who
man.
don't know, legacy gems are every gem you've ever spent in Smite. We're
I
talking all
hate
time.
this,
Like you created
dude.
your account, you spent gems. We count those too. Every single bit are going over into Smite 2. You're getting them. They do a lot of things, and there's a whole blog about it, but 50% off a lot of gem purchases. And there are some exceptions, and we've talked about it. I'm sure y'all are sick of hearing this. But I wanted to remind y'all that we're still counting. We didn't announce this and then stop counting. We're still counting. If you bought the Immortal Honor event, or you rolled the chest that we just talked about with the Hades skin, those are going on at the legacy gem pile. We're
They
still
don't need to
counting
keep-
up the
they
gems
don't
you
need
spend
to
give
keep
back to
saying
you
the
in
legacy
Smite 2.
gem shit.
We didn't just, all right, well, we told
It's just
them stop the
overdone.
clock. Like, up
They
until
don't
it
need
launches,
it. They don't need to do
we're
it.
counting. So, you know, just know that, like with Immortal Honor event, right? You're getting 24 skins for Smite 1, 24 skins in Smite 2, and all of your gems returned to you as legacy gems in Smite 2. So it's bananas.
I
just
feel
wanted to-
like
I
the
know
more
that we've
this-
probably beaten
like,
this
the
legacy
more
gem
they
thing into the
word
ground,
this,
but
the
I
worse it
wanted to say it
gets.
again because it's bananas that we're really trying to give you every gift we can to say thank you for all you've done for us, and we hope you enjoy Smite 2. So anyway, I'll stop soapboxing now. We're gonna get into some balance. I think I've talked enough. I gotta let the people over here who know what they're talking about do some talking. So first up, I mean, let's just start with Conquest. Let's start talking about some Conquest changes. Got a couple of camps changing around, starting with red buff.
Yeah. So 11.1 was a huge update. I mean,
It was huge.
It was
count on
giant.
it. It was very, very big. A lot of stuff went into it.
Can I
And
just
one
say
of
it
the
was
things that
dying?
really made a big impact going into this
Did you
update
just say the
was
game was
change
dying?
to class passes, where they got removed.
Or was
Yeah.
it giant?
So one of the biggest things for mages,
Giant or
specifically in relation
dying?
to the red buff, because that's typically where they end up,
Yeah.
is that they had a much harder time clearing the red buff because they were missing a bunch of power. So what we've done specifically to help mages, not necessarily hunters
dude,
in the middle,
no.
because the change here is
No
to
way, this is
increase
the only buff they get.
protections
No
of
way,
the
guys.
big
No way.
manticore
Okay.
in that camp. Down in terms of the magical ones.
Yeah,
from
I know,
16 to
Katie. It's
10.
unfortunate,
so that's
though.
A pretty big
Average
base
high-res
decrease
studios
for
moment, though.
specifically
Tragically.
The magical characters, that's going to help them a lot in terms of clearing.
Yes, mages
Cool.
are back.
Awesome. Well,
6
Harpies,
prots off
to
the
continue the
red.
camp talk, our next,
Oh my
mid-Harpies
god,
specifically.
they were having so much
Yeah,
trouble
I mean,
killing the
same
red
idea
buff,
with
not the
mid-Harpies
mid
in general.
camps.
There was a lot of issue in terms of clearing those because again,
No,
missing
it
power,
was
even
not.
junglers missing a bit
Yeah.
of
Oh,
defense, right? So
mid-Harpies.
they're having a little bit
50
of tough time with
health,
that as well.
that's
So
still
altogether,
not
when it comes
helping.
to the class passive change,
Oh.
those kind of two really fit together in terms of we need to make sure that people are able to do this and they're not
Yeah.
spending too much time here or they're dying to
Yo,
it.
6
or,
prots and
feeling
50
like they
health
can't
is
do much
not
after
equivalent
doing it.
Yeah,
to the
inadvertent,
46
camp
or
buff
the
is kind of
60
being
power
brought
that
back
you would
down
get.
a little bit. So next up, a feature that I have always loved. I loved the first iteration. I love the second iteration. Stygian Beacon is getting a little bit of a touch up.
Yeah, I think the big thing here was we wanted to make sure that we
Hopefully with this change, they make it so
And
if you
feels
kill a
good. It's really-
tower with the
it's
beacon,
definitely
it's actually
you're like, I
impactful.
want to unleash these titans. I love the buff. Let's fight over this. And now
Nope,
you don't have to worry
no one
about
liked
the
the
titans
Titans.
unleashing. You're
Nope,
like, I want to
nope,
siege
nope,
these
nope.
towers.
No one
We're
liked
gonna
the
fight
Titans.
over this. So
Right.
I think you did really well.
Yeah, and I think it accomplished that goal, but it wasn't kind of carrying into the late game as strong as we wanted.
No, mid
And
camps
we
are
wanted to
OP, Dave.
Kind of
I'm
feel
not
that
kidding.
impact a little bit
They
more.
actually
wanted to push
like,
the needle in the game a
actually
little bit more.
destroy
We
you.
figured that kind of small buff would kind of like push it in that direction.
Got it. Super cool. So next up, something else that's kind of new to the Conquest world. You have the Fire Giant Effigy, and it's getting a little bit of love, huh?
Yeah, so this is a little rock that you may see next to the fire giant when
rock.
it gets started. He's just a little guy, and once he gets taken down, the fire giants start to take a lot more damage, right? But what we've been
This
seeing
effigy
in the
is
matches that
useless.
we've looked at is that it's just not dying very much. It's not dying very quickly. People aren't necessarily interacting with it.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
'cause
way
the
we were
effigy is
expecting
useless,
to,
that's
So we
why.
want to kind of give players a little bit more incentive
Unless you're
to
doing
go
it
and
like
take
at
a look and
23
start hitting it
minutes,
a bit
25
more, so
minutes is
making it-
useless.
bringing down that health just a hair, just 150. But even with the mitigations and stuff built on top of it, it can be a little bit difficult to get through that chunk of health, especially if you're
It's useless.
the guardian or the warrior that's hitting it.
Yeah.
If you are the sole responsible person for it, we want to make sure that any kind of class, any kind of build can get through it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome.
Because it doesn't
And
die
last
in
but
one
not
hit
least,
focus,
kind
that's
of
why.
next to the
Or no.
fire, or next to the effigy and across the map, we
From
have
fire.
in general a change to some of the map bosses or the way you interact with them.
But yes, you are supposed
So
to use the
what's
fire
going on
giant to
with
kill
that?
it.
So specifically, there was a lot of reports of players not being able to lifesteal from jungle bosses, and this
Okay.
kind of came to be because of the lifesteal changes that we made
Yeah.
in the previous patch, where we took down the percentage that you could heal from minions by 50%, and on top of that, map bosses debuff you to heal 50% less as well. So you end up getting to a net of 0, which
Yeah.
means that you're healing nothing. So actually, your lifesteal was working. It just was getting debuffed to 0. So
Wait,
what we've
I
done
thought
is
that
we've
was
actually
intentional.
changed that debuff that gets applied to you when you're trying to lifesteal to be 25% instead of 50. So in total now, if you are trying to lifesteal off of a jungle boss, it will be for 25%.
I thought
and not
it was
0%. No,
intentional,
it's
so
not
you
intentional.
don't, you can't
We
just sit
fixed
there
that
and
for the
lifesteal off the
So
kit.
you get a little bit of that
Fire
lifesteal
Giant or
back.
Gold Fury,
Super cool.
Pyro.
So now we're out of Conquest. We're moving
That
into
buffs-
the world
that
of duels.
buffs
So for
physical
those
mids,
people
by the
who
way.
are dual
I just wanna
fans
put that
and
out
have kept
there.
up, we've
That
been
buffs physical
rotating
mids.
some gods that have been
Again,
banned and kind of
physical
changing
mids
it
get
up.
buffed.
So we have the new list. But first, let's start off with the old. So freshly unbanned, we have a variety
Yeah,
of gods.
I'm in this
You'll
right
see them
now,
here on screen.
CIJ.
These
I don't
are
think I have any
freshly
interest, I'll be honest
unbanned,
with you.
starting with update 11.2.
Yeah, so as you'll notice here, there's some top tiers making
There
their
are
way
some
back.
top
into the mix.
tiers.
We've got some Anhurs, Anubis, Huyi, Baka, Uller. I'm sure is going to be a very exciting one for
sure.
a lot of content creators. But yeah, so we're starting to experiment with putting a lot of the top tiers, or mingling, you might say, mingling
Yeah.
top tiers back into the list. Because you can see here, there's also some that are not top tiers, or that you wouldn't expect them to be necessarily. But that were pretty
Look how
popular
old
in
Vulcan looks.
10.13,
It's
so they got
blurred.
banned in 11.1, and now
Fenrir
we're
is
like, all right,
blurred.
it's 11.2. It's time
Fenrir
for
and
them to
Vulcan
come
are
back.
Yeah, you can
blurred,
have them
and then
back.
everyone else
So
isn't.
we'll see. We want to keep a really
'Cause
close
they're
eye
so
on how
old.
these top tiers perform now that they're unbanned.
Yeah.
And see, if we can cycle in some more top tiers, pull some out. It's going to be a lot of experimentation, but we have a really cool couple of patches planned ahead as well. So
Yeah.
keep your eyes out for the next rotations as well. But I'm sure this one's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, that has been the motto for Smite 1 for as long as I've done update shows, is we have a really cool stuff now and
Do
later,
not have
so
interest.
Keep your eyes on it. So next up,
In
obviously, if we're unbanning
duel.
some gods,
Next one,
it's gotta
guys,
be
come
some
on.
new banned gods as well. So let's look at that. These are the
Oh.
newly banned gods.
So these are a lot of the top performers in 11.1. We kind of are still keeping that mindset of if they're doing really well, in the patch. We're gonna take him out for the next
Bam.
one. That may,
Smite
continue to
game
shift as
show
we
with
get more
patch notes
data
has
from here and
2,200
there,
viewers. I wonder
in
why.
various matches, and so we've had some new people show up.
I
and some old
wonder
people from the
why.
original
I
list show up
wonder
as well.
why.
Yeah.
But in general, we are going to shift these guys.
Nah,
in
they're
and
just
see
showing-
how
showcasing
the
everyone.
top tiers that have now been shifted in are going to look.
Cool, cool.
Hey,
And
Jay.
just as one more touch, we have the still banned gods, so things that weren't unbanned
New
or not
god
newly
release.
banned. These are here. These are the same, where they're still by.
Yeah, so a lot of these characters are going to be like your super SS plus, like your
Yeah.
Kali's, your AMC's, Kronos is maybe up there, Poseidon. Those characters are still banned because we know that playing against them can be a little bit frustrating. So we're trying to again limit the number of top tiers that you'll see in your games.
Rather than
but
ever
with
made
only
another
certain.
channel for
We tried to
AFK
kind of pick the
drops?
ones that
Oh,
were
yeah,
a
it
little
should be
bit,
Smite
you know,
community.
less annoying. People wanted to play
course.
them more. But
Yeah,
of course, we
no,
want to make
Katie,
sure
but
that,
this
if you're a
used to
Kali
have
main and
like
you duel,
this
you know, you're not gonna
before
not be
they
able to
started
play
running
the
Smite
god you
game
wanna play.
24/7.
Exactly.
She'll
So-
come back.
This was like
We're
a
just figuring
15
out
to
exactly
20k
when
on
we're
patch
gonna
notes.
Well, seeing all of these, I
SPL,
completely
it was
agree,
at,
except
like,
for AMC,
15
because
to
that means
20K
no
as well.
corn, and that makes me sad.
Oops.
No corns.
I mean,
And
you're
then
right. It's super
now
annoying,
it's-
but
yeah.
I just like the
Now
corn.
it's
So
destroyed
ever
because
since that
no one
skin came
knows
out, I was
whenever
like,
there's
all right,
actually something
AMC
important
has
on
a
the
lot of
channel.
good skins, like, but Amusin Corn is one
No,
of my
Smite game
favorites.
is not for
So
AFK
next up, we have
drops.
one more game mode to talk about, and this
It
is
is
actually
not,
a little
it
bit
is
of an
not.
experiment. We're talking Slash. But we're not
Yeah,
talking
I know
the
why
Slash
you would
everybody
think that,
knows.
though.
We're talking Slash, but it's a 4v4. So this is an experiment that we're
Yeah,
actually
no one
going
knows
to get
when
into
anything important is
sometime
on the Smite game
11.2.
stream.
The exact date we're still ironing out because it's an experiment. So we'll let y'all know. But what we're doing here is we're going to, for a while, have Slash available as a 4v4 game mode. For testing purposes, we want to see how the community likes it. We want to see if it feels like a healthier
Wait,
version
I
of the
thought
Slash
Slash was in the
experience.
game
If it
right
just
now.
helps the game feel better overall. So again, bit of an experiment that we will be relying on, our data, because we like our numbers, and y'all's feedback to help us decide if this is, if this
Slash
is worth
is
it, if it was a good
5v5?
idea.
Oh.
So again, y'all get more information in the future. Make sure to keep your eyes on our social pages and everything.
So they're just making
once
Slash
it comes
4v4?
out, make sure to let us know with all of your very candid feedback. Please be candid. You always are. How you felt about it, because again, we're running an experiment. We like to do things that we think people will
I
enjoy.
don't play anything but
and y'all are the
Conquest now.
people.
I don't have
so
any
if you don't
interest.
enjoy it, let us know. If you do enjoy it, please let us know. And cool. Past that, we're into the world of items now. You ready to talk some items?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
So we're kicking off with nerfs, and we're kicking off with some starter items.
Yes, the first starter item that we're going to talk about is Warrior's Axe, and kind of the theme with the two starter items that you're going to see here is that
Okay.
we had intentionally given them a bit of a buff that was a little larger than it may have needed to make sure that the
Warrior's
meta
Axe gone.
was changing before Worlds in a way that was going
Well,
to
this
be
is gonna be
pleasant for
bad.
all of our viewers
Yeah,
and our
that was-
players.
They nerf
Enjoy.
Warrior's Axe
For lack
and
of a
physical
better
power
way
on
to phrase that.
Bluestone.
So
Oh,
Warrior's Axe
it's gonna be
specifically,
bad news,
is getting a
bears.
small decrease in physical
We're gonna
power,
get Guardianed
20 to
on
15.
the
It's
soul lane.
going to definitely impact the early game for a lot of those characters that do like to use and abuse it.
Okay.
But it also opens up a little bit for your Bluestones, your Tainted Steels, lots of other options there.
Yeah.
And so the second one kind of on this list is Timeline. It's getting a small power reduction buff. And you'll see a little bit why later, but we are only nerfing it a little bit because we have a competitor, spoiler alert, coming up
Spoiler.
that we may be buffing.
Cool. Well, for me to chime in and say the thing that I always say, update notes are live right now if you want to follow along, see all the numbers we're talking about, or check it out later. They will be live, so make sure you check those out during, before, or after the show. So let's move on. We have a very horrific emblem and a whole tree of it even to talk about.
Yeah, so this was far and away the relic that I heard the most about throughout our playtesting phase, as well as just being live. I mean, I'm sure you experienced it quite a lot in support. It happened many a times that
Yeah.
I would buy horrific and just run it down. So having a lot of that power as a support does feel really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yo, Deathman,
but
thank you so much for the
it
tier 1 sub.
definitely
I
does a lot of
appreciate
things.
that.
We
Thank you,
acknowledge
thank you,
that.
thank you.
But we want to make sure that the
Muchula,
anti-healing
muchula.
aspect is
Welcome
still
to the
strong.
community.
Anti-shielding,
Hope you enjoy your stay. Hope you enjoy the
counter
new emotes
still
and everything like that.
exists.
Yeah.
So we're taking down a little bit of the slow, and we're also
You should,
increasing the cooldowns
open it
and
up
the
in
availability of it.
incognito,
It's just going to be a
Deathran.
little bit less frequent than all the others, and that applies to every
Mute the
single
tab, turn
world.
off the ad block, and then watch
You
you
gotta make
stream
sure that you're
on this.
choosing when to use it a little more carefully now. All right, so next up, we're talking one of our new wards, it looks like. So that's exciting. What's going on with the new proximity ward?
Thank you,
This one in
listen.
general was mostly, it was very cool to
Yeah.
see a lot of new plays around
Like,
Proximity Ward.
They
which
are
is
very cool.
Just awesome.
Yeah.
right?
Like if I were to
I was
like
very
do this
excited to see
properly,
people
I
use
would
this,
open
but
this.
there was one use case that we were
Copy
like,
this.
"Ooh, I don't know how to feel about that," and that was
Control
in
Shift
lane,
N.
buying it in lane.
Pop this
to
bad boy
start with,
open.
to kind of
Turn
act
off
as a
my ad
combat
block.
kind of trick, more or
Yeah.
less, to drop
Wherever
it on
that
people
is.
that can't really run away. Maybe they don't even have their movement abilities by the time you
And
get to lane. and they just
Quick,
gotta get slowed.
And I think that's a use case we definitely wanted to see with
I'll figure
proximity
this
ward. I
out.
think we
I'll
just
figure
didn't
this
wanna see
out.
it
Hold
as
on.
early as it was happening, and so that's why we're kind of shifting it so that it's like locked behind that level 5.
There's a
Yeah,
way to
and it
mute the
really
tab.
is
I don't know how to
just
do it
the
on
laning
this. I'm
phase
still
that
learning
we thought
Opera.
was, like the problematic
Don't
part.
at me.
So level 5 is like the lowest unlock we have in the game in terms of when you're able to buy things.
Yeah.
So it's really just laning phase is a no-go. Anytime after that, though,
Yeah,
by
some
all
people
means,
were
Go
Dr.
wild.
Norris.
drop it on your enemies.
I don't
and
like this
slow
though.
'em down.
I think this is
Yeah,
a
that's,
cool
I mean, that's a
use
super
of
cool
mechanic.
use case
I
too,
actually
because,
hate
you
that
know,
they did this.
Somebody like me, I played with it a little bit. I was like, oh, dude, I'll put it
I actually
on the
hate
far
this.
side of Fire Giant. They come to contest. They're slow. We turn on them. Beautiful.
I was,
My
though.
brain had
Yeah,
never
I
even
was.
clicked into for the longest time. Like, throw it at them
Control
while I'm running
M.
them down.
Yeah,
They'll
press
never
Control
escape.
M,
Like,
mute it.
super. That's why I love giving things into the world and watching people make plays with them, because I'm over here getting my mind blown constantly. So moving forward. Demon Blade, Devoted Deathbringer. What is the line between them? What are the changes?
Crit.
Whoa.
Crit's good.
Crit is good.
Crit is good.
Crit is good.
One of the main things we wanted to address here with crit in particular is there is a very common
That item is
discussion
fucking dead.
that happens whenever crit
Sheesh.
becomes relevant, where crit just
That
has
item is
too many
cooked.
stats. It
Yeah.
does a lot of different things. It's too
GG.
multifaceted, and that's an argument that we totally understand, and we see that
This actually
Purpose
doesn't
coming
affect
around,
the meta
especially when
build,
the
by the way.
builds and things and the theoreticals all come
The
into
actual
line.
meta hunter build is not affected by this at all.
Yeah, you were right.
So for Demon Blade, this is a very interesting one because Demon Blade's passive gives you penetration and attack speed. Well, no
Yeah.
longer does it give you attack speed. It still has the attack speed on
Meta
the base
hunter
stats of
build
the item.
is
You just
ornate.
don't gain it when you crit.
Yeah.
Devos,
So that extra
Xe,
aspect of gaining
Kins,
another set of stats is no longer going to happen. It's just going to
Thom,
be on the base of the item,
Deathbringer.
and that's it.
That is current meta build.
As
Rock and
for
roll.
Devoted Deathbringer, though, I mean, this is a very contentious item, I know. This is kind of like the enabler
Yeah.
when it comes to the crit build. So we are just going to decrease this multiplier one more time. We kind of stealth nerfed it coming out of PTS,
Doesn't really
which
do
we
it
didn't
either.
have a whole lot of communication on, which we apologize for, and that could have led to a lot of that like misunderstanding of, oh, this
Doesn't
is
do
way more
anything.
OP than it actually is.
Yeah.
But we still have seen a lot of that stress around crit is really
Wow,
strong.
this
so
looks
we
like
wanna
a-
take it down one more time to make sure that
a
we are
golden
really,
bolts trophy behind
nailing
them there, but
exactly what you guys want here.
Yeah, I think
weirdly
one of the
enough,
core
there
things about the
wasn't a
item is
golden
we wanted to
bolts
make sure
at the
that
last
people
year's
wanted to
Worlds.
just go maximizing crit, had like a good payoff for doing that. But we felt like maybe in its current state, it was a little bit too strongly tuned in that direction.
Yeah.
So this is just a way to kind of bring it back more in line with the rest of the item builds.
Got it.
The,
But I mean, man, what a messed up
30
day.
cent trophy
Nerfing
might have
something with
cost
the
too
word
much there.
devoted on the day of love. Like,
Gosh,
obviously we
sorry.
weren't devoted to keeping that. It's whatever, you know. But anyway, we're moving on to buffs now in the item trees. Starting with, also kind of relevant to Valentine's Day, I guess, the gems. So,
yeah.
Conduit and Archmage's gem, both
Yeah.
kind of on this
I'm
buff
excited about
tree.
So this is what I was referring to earlier when I said that a competitor was getting buffed.
Competitor.
Conduit is now getting
Yo.
buffed. It's getting a kind of an interesting shift, actually. which
Holy
I would consider buff,
smokes!
To where the stack time, because when you get Conduit Gem, you have to stack up, and it takes time to get those stats, right? And so a lot of times...
Oh my god, why would they ever do that?
Sometimes, but
Yo!
essentially, you have to wait a long time to get the full payoff of it, to get the full lane clear, etc.
Yeah.
We're going to be
Oh
decreasing
my
the time by
God,
half, but we're also
bro.
slightly decreasing the true damage per stack that you're getting.
Why would they
This is
ever
not
do that?
counting the minions. This is just on players.
Yeah.
By one. So yes, you're getting
Oh.
it faster. You're going to be doing slightly less damage, but it's still going to be way, way more damage than you ever would have been doing before at 10
Wait,
seconds.
only
So
to gods?
Overall, it's a buff.
I don't think that's correct.
Just kind of keeping it in line with this very slight adjustment to the damage.
Yeah, I think this item has taken up a bit of a backseat to Sands for a bit, and it's cool to see it like a lot more consistent and
Yeah.
more reliable to
Archmage
get
is
it off. And I think
last.
it reduces the friction, which is going to make it a lot
Yeah.
easier to build in a bunch of different circumstances.
Yeah, make it make more sense.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of same idea there for Archmages as well. There's no damage shift on this one because really this one has not been very popular
Yeah.
for a long time, if ever.
So you'll always get
we really wanna
two- you'll
see
get
if this is
two
going to help
damage a
shift up
second
the
now?
focus skin
Yeah.
between this and
Bring it on.
2
Never
damage a
focus.
second, so it takes 10 seconds
All
to
the
fully
gem
stack
jump.
it. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you heard it here.
that's-
Between those two buffs, take your that special lane partner you have, or that special team member you're queuing with, over to the jungle shop and buy him one of those gems for Valentine's Day. So,
if only. Well, you're giving me ideas now. Stop.
there you go. So next up, completely unrelated to gems and love,
I
Death's
don't
Temper.
know if that's
Yeah,
worth it.
so this is a hunter basic attack item
Yeah.
that you really haven't seen very much of. And you could even say it's possible to build it in solo. We have been seeing some Death's Embrace over in solo, which is
A little crazy.
still very fun. Lots of healing
Yo!
to go with that. But Death's Temper is going to take a backseat again to just the better upgrade, it seems, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is...
They get that?
was a lot
What
of
the
minions
fuck did
having
majors
this.
get?
Especially 'cause
Hello?
most waves have 6, right? So that's more than a single
Why
wave
them,
that you
not
have to
me?
take care of. And this is at when you're level 20. How often are you really being in the waves at level 20 unless you're sieging? It's not very often,
That's
right?
true.
So
What
what we've done
the-
is we've just kind of shifted Death's Temper to have half the stacks, but double the stats. So you're still getting to the point where you need to get. It's the same number value across the board. You're just
Okay.
getting there in half the time. So 5 minions instead of 10. Same damage. And then we also gave it an extra 75 health because we were looking at that. 75 health at a tier 3, kind of crazy a little bit. So
Kind of nutty a little bit.
just a little bit more help in the stats department as well.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Similar to Conduit, right? It's like, how do we make this item more reliable?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
this definitely makes this item more reliable. Especially like there are times where I've always
Chaos,
wanted to
you
build
were a
that
mid laner,
Temper 'cause
buddy.
I love, going
I need a
attack
little
speed,
love over
but
here.
Maybe didn't
Come
want to
on.
go into the lifesteal one.
Do I have to get down there and
that
go-
kind of minion restriction
Sorry.
always held it back from
Wrong stream.
getting that full potential, and I feel like this again makes it a lot easier to get there.
Yeah, of course.
And more reliable in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree too. Like, it's awesome when you get to the point of these items work at a technical level, but now we need to think about, like you said, that
Gluck,
friction.
gluck
right?
for the
Why-
mage
what is it
buff.
that makes this feel more attainable or makes this
Not
a
an
competitive
incognito.
option?
Yeah,
So
my
it's
bad,
cool to
guys.
see
I'll
that
swap the
the stats
incognito,
are
sorry.
changing, but we're also looking at what helps gives this item edge against its better
Oh,
competitors.
there'll be some
It's just cool
edging
to see
going
those
on.
changes.
That's
So,
for sure.
Awesome. To continue,
Sorry.
staying on
That was my
brand
brother.
with this day of love.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
Rejuvenating
Oh
heart.
my gosh, we just really
Y'all
made this.
planned this. The script for this one's crazy.
All right, if you see those numbers, you're gonna think it's crazy. And believe me, I also thought it was crazy. 33% shared healing to 75%. This is a magical item. So you're
Okay.
getting on a magical characters who a lot of the time are already getting hit by a 33% AoE coefficient decrease to their lifesteal. So getting 33% of 33% was not ideal.
Wasn't
by a
Freya
lot of
auto
regards.
attack healing for
so even if
100?
you are sharing that to your teammates, which is always really nice, good to share.
It's good to share.
It wasn't very much, and you're also getting that additional healing.
One
from
Freya
yourself.
auto attack with
the
rejuvenating
first thing
heart
we
and
were like,
lifesteal
okay,
build
well,
was
this is not
100
very
health
much healing at
per,
all.
right?
And number
To
two,
everybody?
people have never really thought to pick
So
up
now
this
it's going
item,
to
even within
be
its old passive. So we
Yeah.
really need to give it a big push
give it some
250?
love.
if we want people to give it a
Two-
try, right?
Yeah.
So we understand this number will look scary,
Yeah,
but
250-ish.
maybe lifesteal will be good. Lifesteal's good. At
Maybe-
last,
maybe-
perhaps.
Question mark?
Maybe buff
Well,
band
the only two
cross.
things that I can take away from
Little
this
band cross
are
buff
one,
with the devil?
how effortlessly you use the word
Lap band on
coefficient
band
there.
cross,
Like you
make
just slid that
life
right
still
into a
meta?
sentence, and it hit me
I
like
have
a
a college degree.
flashbang.
That's right.
I was like, okay, that's a word people use. That's
See,
a
the
big
problem
word.
with rejuvenating heart is it
Secondly,
doesn't help you
we
kill
all have big
tank.
hearts around here.
That's the
so,
problem with it.
75% or 40 something.
That is the
percent
problem
bigger.
with
I can do
rejuvenating
math,
heart. So you are
42%
buying
bigger.
an
We're
item
just
that
out here
doesn't do
showing the
anything
love.
for
So
you to
I'm
help you
excited
kill
for that,
tanks.
especially
So.
somebody who likes sharing the healing. So Vibrant Shard is next on the docket, and it's getting a little buff action.
Yeah, you're just going to
So
be
the
anti-heal
new passive
full.
shard certainly made quite a big mark on the
They
They
battle
made a
front.
splash.
They did. Vibrant Shard though was perhaps the least of them all, and that was a little bit disappointing.
Wow,
to us,
they
'cause
buffed
we
this?
understand that Party Punch was definitely a jungler special.
Dude.
Yeah.
But also
That's
Golden Shard
crazy.
is super, super good. So we were like, okay, well, Golden Shard's kind of new. We want to keep seeing like what it can do through another patch. But
Yeah, of
Vibrant
course.
Shard, we kind of want to increase the rate that people are going to try
That's
it. And especially
crazy,
towards that
bro.
later
That's just
phase
a
of the game,
fizz
which is why we
buff,
touched the
man.
scaling
Can I
specifically.
get a little bit
But
of
it's kinda
love
tough
from the mage
spot to land
tab?
on, right? Because if it's
Yeah.
too good,
Now I'm just
people
going to
aren't
run at
gonna
you
trade
with
it
the
out.
fizz
And then if
assassin
it's not
mid
good enough,
and
then
fucking
we're gonna
vibrant
win.
shard you. Awesome.
Yeah. Quite the thin line you have to walk there.
Yeah, it's tough.
Come on, give me the stacking
Next
items
up,
to
the
be
thing that every time I
75.
see it on the notes, I have to
Ooh.
think, how do I say this? Cannoneers, it's Curus? Is it Curus?
I want to say Curious.
Curious?
You want to say? That's a lot of
Cannoneers, bro.
confidence.
Cannoneers. Are you
All right. Cannoneers chestplate. What's up?
So this item has been so close to being support viable for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right now, the
Well,
decision
Bruh.
between going cloak or going into Thebes
More
is
like
still pretty
Cuirass.
cool.
Yeah.
I think a
What
lot
the-
of players are really enjoying having that option. To
Come
go,
on, man, this
you know,
item is just
with
bad,
those,
bro.
Both. They're very fun items, right? But
Guys,
Cannoneers
there's
is kind of this
Thebes in
undiscovered
prophetic in the
third
game,
option.
guys.
Really, what's happening is that
Do you
Thebes is
understand?
not
These
as
items
that
are
efficient as the
completely
other
broken
two.
compared to
You
this
start
item.
to earn a lot of prots in Thebes and on the cloak that you just aren't getting the same through
Yeah.
Cannoneers. So we want to just kind of inch it a little bit closer.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we've
And then
noticed
it'll
these
start
like
to break through.
small little.
Yeah,
stat
watch, they'll
nudges a
buff
lot
this
of
to
times when they,
35,
like, push
35, and it'll be the best fucking
viabilities.
support item in the game.
Here.
And it's crazy how true that is too. How sometimes you're like,
This
we
item
have
will
to
be
take
so
this item
broken.
and
They'll buff it one more
redefine
time,
its
guaranteed.
existence, and then it's good. And sometimes you're like, we'll give this 1% attack speed and 10 health, and it's like the meta item all of a sudden.
Eventually, someone's going to try it. call up genetics, call up PBM. Someone's gonna do it, and it's gonna catch on, and
Yeah.
then it's gonna be super OP.
Yeah, it'll be like 11.5. It'll be we nerf it into the earth because people were like, wait a minute, this item is cracked.
It's very exciting because it does have that extra gold spooling, and it's got
Yeah.
extra clear potential too. So some low clear supports can do it. We've even seen a little bit of experimentation in other lanes, which
Yeah.
you're losing that gold aspect, but maybe the clear is what's valuable.
The
To them.
J special.
But either way, it's getting there. It's close.
It's getting there.
I can feel it. It's close.
Where the adjustments are close. So next up, the hammer. The
Yo, what's up,
Blackthorn
Bess?
hammer.
I'm excited for this one.
Yes.
Oh, excited? All right, well, we'll get into it.
Well, so I mean, I'm a huge fan of the hybrid items.
Yeah.
Again?
Really happy to see this one kind of coming back into the fray. You might have more thoughts on like kind of
Hybrid meta. Hybrid meta incoming.
But generally speaking, I think we wanted people to be able
How
to
are we
afford it a
buffing
little
tanks,
easier,
guys? Are you
and
kidding
kind
me?
of nudging up that health again, same in line with.
Bro,
you know,
can
just nudging
mages
assassins
get
with
any
kind of
love?
Bringing item to viability.
What am I looking
combining
at?
that with the gold reduction really helps like find it into that better slot.
What am I looking
I mean,
at?
who isn't
Can
excited about more
anyone
for less,
help the
regardless
mage
of what it
tab?
is, but item store is no different.
All
You're
my
like, I need
mage
these
developers
stats,
are
and I
on
can get
Smite
them for a
too.
little
What's
bit
going
less.
on here? Can I
Let's
get
go, I'm buying a
anybody?
hammer,
Yeah, I
so.
mean, it was a lot of comparisons to the other hammers, right?
Yeah.
Because when Blackthorn was last in the game, the environment it was in was very different. I mean, Runeforge was not
Bruh,
the same.
don't
Rockbound
even
was not
say
the same,
very
and there's a lot
different.
of
The game's
comparisons
the
in that. Dawnbringer
same.
didn't exist.
It's the same
So
game.
there's quite a few
There's
differences.
nothing
that
different. It's
this
the
hammer's
same game
fallen
that it
into.
was
So
like
one thing we wanted to do
5
is, okay,
years
what does
ago.
this passive do compared to the other ones?
Yeah.
Is
The only
that
thing that's
equal
changed is
gold
9.5,
value?
and that fucking
No,
nearly
not
killed the
quite,
game.
Not the same. So we wanted to make sure that it was, at an adequate gold cost, and then we also did a shift to its stats previously because it had power.
Fucking
and health.
Tiny Timmy
So we wanted
was
to put
dealing
a
with
little bit more power into it
fucking
and take away
getting
some of
one
that
shot
health.
on the
But we have
first
seen
wave
that
like an
taking away
idiot.
a bit of that health has kind of made it a little bit less viable
Yeah.
in that regard because you just don't get the defenses that you really need. So we wanted to give it just a smidge more health and take down that price to a place that we thought that it was good for.
Awesome. Well, we've made it to the final item of
Oh,
the item
final.
section of
What do you mean
balance, and
final?
That's Titan's Bane.
Yeah, so this one might be surprising to some folks, and that's
Okay.
totally understandable.
Surprise me.
The reason that this is showing up is because in our data, we have seen that a lot of the late game damage of ability-based characters, specifically assassins,
Am I playing the same game?
Mostly against tanks.
What the fuck is
Tanks are
happening? I'm so glad I don't play
getting
competitive.
dealt a lot of the
Fuck
damage
me.
from carries
Oh
and
my
from mages,
god.
Yeah.
and it's a lot less.
They buffed
of
a core
the
item
assassins.
in the
We wanna make
current
sure that the late game
physical
payoff for these
mid-build.
assassins, especially the ones that are either
What?
full commit and need to
What?
get as much damage in one go,
I
or
didn't-
focus assassins. Either way, both of them were kind of suffering in that ultra late game, and this is kind
What
of
is going on?
the premier 6 item slot.
Okay, got it. Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I have limited experience in the assassin world, but you want to be
If they're
able to be like,
all
all right,
over.
I'm about to play Gray Screen
you
Simulator, but I want to
mean?
do something before I get there with this.
You'll be
guy.
Gray
So
Screen Simulator
having
for
something
playing a
more lively
mage.
do that sounds good.
Play a
So now we're into
mage.
the God section.
Play a mage.
We got some God
Yeah, yeah,
changes
see
to
where
talk
your
about,
gray
and we're
screen
gonna
looks
start
like,
off
buddy.
In the world of nerfs, starting with Athena, one of the scariest global presence havers of all the gods, I'd say. So what's being nerfed about Athena?
Yeah, speaking
Bro.
of global presence, that's what we're nerfing.
Aha! There it is.
Not
Guys,
the cooldown or
this
frequency of it
isn't-
per se, but the effectiveness of it. So she is
Okay.
going to remain at 20% F max rank, but her early game
This
strength is
isn't-
going down. So we're going to be starting her at 10% damage mitigation and 10% movement speed. That also counts for herself.
Yeah.
And then ranking it up as she goes forward into the game.
Get
So
me
this should
on there,
really
man.
help the
Give me a
early
salary
game
again. I'll
rotations
fix
of
this
her
game.
Going across
Don't
the map
stress it.
feel a little bit less scary.
I won't listen to anybody
even
on
in other
Reddit.
game
I
modes
don't give
where
a
she kind of
fuck.
has like this free back
I
to
will
base
fix the
and
game,
Get
don't
in
worry.
there button.
Get me in there.
Not quite
Salary
as
me up.
terrifying for those who face it.
You can deal with it a little more. Late game, you still have to know what you're doing, but early game, you have a little more leniency.
We've also noticed with a lot of characters when you have like a base stat that's present at all ranks, sometimes just kind of
Maybe they'll nerf all the
tanks.
tanks. Watch this, ready?
Balance.
It's gonna be
relative to
Athena?
some of the other things in the game.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, it gives
Guarantee
you a progression
you,
to scale
from
to work
these
with, so
notes
instead of,
alone,
like,
I
it's all or
guarantee
nothing
you they
with
won't
this,
touch
like you
MC
said, it's
Marty
a
at
little
all.
smoother of a
Guarantee
curve,
fucking
and
to you.
yeah. All right. Well, cool. So next up, Maman Brigitte. I feel like Maman has been a very loud addition to the battleground. Like,
Oh, in more ways
came,
than one.
Oh, she's
yeah,
dead now. The
came,
character's
hit
useless.
hard, and has continued to be a presence. So,
We're
what
already at M.
nerfs are on the docket for her?
So Maman Brigitte has.
We're already-
continued
we're already
to
past
not necessarily
Marty.
Have the performance of a character
No,
that
we're
would
not.
Be,
It could be
typically
Marty
nerfing,
next.
Yeah.
But she's definitely
Not
had
AMC.
The,
AMC's
the
not touched here.
presence in community feedback.
He got
which is something
buffed.
that we wanna really
AMC did
focus
get
on, is
buffed.
that the frustration factor.
But
is
Marty,
definitely
it
something that
still
we are
could
getting
happen.
behind.
That's true.
So one of the things that we have seen in terms of the frustration has been party trick. How it
No,
feels
Mar-
like it's
my
up
mom was
basically all the
OP.
time if she's
Definitely
able to
very
get
OP.
that stun going.
Yeah.
So we are increasing the base cooldown only. So this is only if you completely empty out your rum
Yeah.
and you drink it all, you stun. it will be on an 8-second cooldown versus a 6-second cooldown that it was before. And then Spirit Seize is another one of those abilities that's like she's jumping in. Get it off.
Yeah, what can I do?
So we're just taking that damage
What
down a little
can
bit more
I
to make sure that
do?
when she hops in, it's more of a she needs to do more than just do that to finish
What
someone
can
off.
I
Yeah.
do? He
She's
said.
got to continue to combo alongside it to make it really worthwhile.
On the receiving end, it should feel a little bit more fair.
Yeah, a little easier to play around instead of being like, oh, that's in me, I'm dead now. So cool. So next up, the Loudbird. Thoth getting a little bit of a nerf, which I'm fine with because Thoth is one of those people that I've never been good at playing and I've always been good at dying to. So, well, what's going on with the nerfs?
He's kind of like the classic artillery mage, right? Where he is able to sit pretty far away. He's kind of safe.
Well,
he doesn't
Marty's
have
not
any
getting
CC
nerfed,
immunity,
I can
but
tell you that.
He's got a lot of damage.
Already
right?
at
So
T.
his CC immunity is just making sure that you are dead, and
Yeah.
then he doesn't have to worry about it, right? So instead of that, what we are doing is we are kind of trying to take down Thoth for those higher level players that are hitting a lot of their shots.
Okay.
Oh
So
my
this
god.
is going to be a
Oh
pretty
my god.
significant nerf to hieroglyphic
Guys,
assault, where
if
you
you're
would
good
get
at the game-
extra damage on subsequent hits. Where for a lot of characters,
Why even fucking
it was,
play?
It's
You're gonna
decreasing
get
his
shit
health. It
nerfed.
was the opposite.
Yeah,
right?
let's
So he's
punish
getting
the
that taken
people
down just a
playing the
bit
game
because we
properly
know
and
that
hitting
that
the
is something
buttons
that
in the
contributes
skill
to
shot
a lot
focused
of his
game.
gameplay, whether that's his
You know what
clear,
I'm saying?
his
Yeah.
poke. It's
Fucking
going to affect
Timmy
a lot
over
of
there
his
is getting hit
stats.
by every
The other
Thoth
thing we're
one and
doing
all.
is taking fire
Let's
protection
fucking
down.
nerf that
Those
part.
people
Hold
that are
on.
accurate with it,
Let's not touch anything
hurts
else.
real
Let's
bad.
punish you for
Let's
hitting
break
your
the
buttons
noggin.
properly.
Yeah, not a good feeling.
Right.
So you
Fucking
still
Timmy
have a lot
over
of
here is
scaling,
winning on
like
Reddit.
20%.
Oh my god, I can't
Quite a
argue
lot.
that.
There's a
But-
lot.
Their
Fucking
characters,
Timmy, man.
Like, at that average level, right? They're pretty fair, but
What
then
is
with that
happening?
variance, they can kind of like push that
What
ceiling.
do you
a
mean
little bit too far,
punish
so
the
that's kinda
top
what we're
end
trying
of
to do,
your
is, like, pull
player
that back.
base? The
Yeah,
player
make it
base
make a
top
little
end
more
is
that
like
makes
10
perfect sense to
fucking
me.
people already.
So moving down the line,
What
we're
is
still
happening?
kind of in the animal world, but we're on the newer side of gods with Bake Kujira. So made a splash on the battleground.
Okay, they don't
I'd
go in
say,
alphabetical
and,
order anymore. We're on fucking B.
I did say
Maybe
it
the
too.
B can get
But,
nerfed. I don't know.
so needs a little bit of touch up though. What are the nerfs coming in?
Yeah, there's a lot of changes here, and so
Yeah,
some of this is going to be a
there
little
are.
bit confusing. I understand. So we're going to take it nice and easy here. First up, Rough Waters. Is this one? So we are shifting these stacks. So essentially, what would happen
Okay.
is when you activate this ability, if you hit enemies, you get protections.
Got it.
And there were a lot of stacks of this, right? So a 6, which is 1 minion wave up to 10, instead of just bringing it down to 6, which would take the prods down by quite a lot, we're taking it to 8 at all ranks. So he still has to hit more minions to actually get the full protections
full
at level
protection.
1, which is going to impact
So
his
this-
rank 1 of that pretty frequently, which
Yeah.
laning phase is where you have rank 1. So that's kind of a 1 pointer for that. The next thing that we're doing is
So now
decreasing
basically they just
protections
turned
by
this
1
ability into
at all
feeling
ranks
really
as
bad to
well.
level
So
up, I'm
at
guessing,
rank
right?
1,
I've
you're
never
getting
played the
8
whale. I have
of
zero
each.
interest in playing the
So,
whale, but
again,
did you
not
level this
too
ability up?
scary
Not too
compared
crazy.
to what it would have been before. Which
To
is
me,
12,
this looks
so
like it
going
makes
down
it
by
feel
4
this ability
in that
really
early
bad to
game
level
again,
up.
which
That's
is
kind of
going
what
to
this
be
looks
really
like.
helpful for that super oppressive laning phase that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
But that's for the 1.
Is there?
Moving on, let's talk about Sonic Wave. This is
Okay, next ability. You're right, that was confusing. Follow the patch notes. If you're like me and you're like, I grasp half of that, my brain is spaghetti.
Level 2.
Patch notes has it all written
Yeah,
out.
sure.
It'll help
You're
out a lot.
explaining well. I just have the mind of a
So did you
goldfish.
even level
And
the
you're
one at
talking about
all?
a whale, so.
Like, did you max the one
Sonic
after the
Wave.
2 then, or
But
no?
yeah, Sonic Wave is his second ability.
To me, it looks like
this
you
is the
just.
cone that does damage.
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
just
going to
not
do a little
happy.
bit less damage in all ranks, but again, early game, 10 less damage. It's on a relatively low cooldown. It's going to help out pretty frequently.
I got that one. All right, let's keep going.
Finally, the ultimate. We're shifting the damage increase debuff. So this is when you're sitting close to him.
Yeah,
So you're not in
that inner
the
circle.
tie-dye. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right in the center. So the damage is getting increased by 1% in the early game. And this is more so to make
that
sure
a
that
thing?
when you are able to go to the late game, that it
Yeah.
can get taken down. So instead of 5 to 15%, which is 15% increased damages.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It can be 10% in the late game. So
Okay.
instead of 5 to 15, it's 6 to 10. So late game, not going to be as impactful. Early game, just
Just a little more.
just much more. But there's the reason for that is so that we can fully compensate for bringing the high end lower.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So that is why I respect y'all so much. Y'all are over here like talking all these numbers, and you're like this in the early game to the late game to and I'm over here
Huh.
like designers are impressive. Y'all
Well,
are
you
crazy.
know.
So or y'all just great work y'all are doing. Look at that on the patch notes. The whale is less scary now. All right, we're gonna keep moving. My brain is just like there's smoke coming out of my ears. So our boy Cuckoo is up next on the docket. The slippery snake and slipstream itself getting a little twist, a little adjust.
Yeah, so we did a
Bazooka
change
Man.
to this one relatively recently where
Yeah.
he gets full slow immunity in this ability. And then we realized, oh wait,
That's
when
crazy.
this ability is fully Slow immune, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty strong.
It's very
There's no
strong.
mages
So
left.
Even though
Actually true. I shouldn't even think about that part. I'm actually glad that some of these characters are getting nerfed because they are fucking out.
It's a lot.
That boy's
It's a lot of
zooming.
movement
Yeah,
speed.
they are.
Zooming.
They are
So
really
we are
nerfing
taking
all the
down
mages, but
ranks
not
by
buffing
10%, which is going
anything
up
at
a lot.
all,
But
huh?
We're also increasing the cooldown towards that max
This is
level as well,
crazy.
so it's still going to stay at 15 at rank 1.
Got
But
it.
instead of going 15 to 11, it's going 15 to 13.
Cool. That makes sense. Nice. Straightforward. So next up is Hachi. What is Hachi's getting Heavenly Banner and Mounted Archery, both slight adjustments, looks like.
Yeah, so he's just a.
That's all he
very
gets?
right.
He is.
He's your jack of all trades. Just kind of does everything.
Yep.
pretty
Yeah.
well.
Am I?
So in general, we want to
Am
make
I-
sure that it's clear. Just goes down by a hair. I know 1 second seems like it's not that
Hulkling
much, but
gets
believe me,
fucking
It makes
the amount
sense.
of,
plus
the amount
two
of time that you
CDs
use
plus
this ability during
3
the game that you're just gonna have it 1 second
on
left.
his fucking
Man,
movement ability.
wish I had it
This
this
guy
Had it 1
gets
second
plus
earlier.
Well,
1
that's why
on
he was
one
doing
of the
it,
most
because he was having fun.
broken
And mounted archery
hunter
again
abilities
is
in the
that
game.
really big piece of safety that makes him so good at not being gankable, which is really the thing that is very important as a
Excuse
hunter.
me?
Yeah.
If you avoid ganks as a hunter and you just play to live,
Hold on a
and you
fucking
farm
second.
up, you're doing your job.
Yeah,
right?
you're doing
so
fine.
He's getting that ability to run away very frequently, so we're taking that back just a hair to make sure he still has it. Just
What the
not as
fuck
much.
is going
a little
on
bit
here?
More opportunity for jungle.
A little more vulnerable.
I waited a
nothing like
month
coming
for
to lane
this.
and trying to gank, and he's like, "That's cool. It's a nice gank, but I have a horse, and
Yeah.
it's thrown over." And as
You
we
don't have a horse.
Yeah.
I mean,
as we continue to go through this too, I just to highlight what you said earlier, Chaos. It's the 1 second adjustments. It's the 1% adjustments that you're like, oh, they changed it 1%. Or 1 second. That's not. But it's crazy how much of a difference that makes, and it's always fun to highlight how,
Yes, if
how
it's-
specific
if
these
it's
changes can be sometimes. 'Cause, it's just cool.
If it's like on
So
something
staying in the
maybe
hunter
important.
subcategory here, we have On Her coming up next.
yeah, Honor's like a close second to Hachiman.
Yeah.
Very safe.
5%.
got the jump.
The recent buff to shifting sands. So we are just going to revert one of those buffs, which
Yeah.
was to increase the slow from it was
Bruh.
15 to 35,
Hello?
and now it's returning back to 15 to 35
Okay.
from where it was before. It just it was very, very potent at zoning, especially in the lane. You typically level
You're
the
telling me
second,
Thoth
so
gets
having that
punished,
extra,
and they
even
lose
5% in the early
15%
game, especially
scaling on their
combined with,
one.
Like, the horrifics that are really strong and the proximity
And
wards.
shifting
It was just a lot of
sands,
slow.
one of the
right?
most
A lot of,
OP abilities in the
area
game, by the
control
way.
and
Loses
CC in a way
5%.
that you wouldn't really expect it
Yeah.
to be powerful, but it
It's
definitely
a
was very
giant
And
fucking
that Van making
circle.
characters again feel more fair. I think this is an adjustment that gets them, more into that position where you feel
Yeah.
a little bit more fair boxing against On Her.
Yeah, instead of being like enemy on her, I'm not trading during this laning phase. I just have to. I'm gonna sit by tower. So all right, cool. So Charon is up next with Damnation getting a little touch up.
Yeah, Charon has been quite the enigma lately. We've
Bruh.
been seeing him in places I was
Enigma's
not
good.
expecting
Yeah.
to see him. A lot of mid.
A lot of mid.
Which is very interesting. Go off, I guess.
Yeah, when you have a
but he-
boat, where can't you go? I guess.
But he's still getting a lot of that shielding off, and that typically tends to be the frustration factor for a lot of players. Is he's
Yeah.
getting a sneaky amount of shielding. So what we're doing is we're decreasing the amount of shield that he's getting based on his health. So
Okay.
typically he's built like the tiniest bit tanky if he's going mid.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times he's being
Guys, I'm
built
gonna
for
make an
support or
updated tier
even
list,
solo
okay?
if People are kind of
Anybody
feeling
have a
him.
prediction what's on the
So
mid tier list?
Taking that health fragment down is going to do way more than
It'll
any
be
amount
pretty
of base
fast.
shielding would do.
Yeah, for sure.
F
Well, cool.
tier,
And
all
last
the
but not least,
mages.
in the God
AIDS
nerfs
S
area
tier
is
all the hunters,
Vamana
assassins.
and Big Baby's getting a little
We
touch up.
just buffed him.
Yeah.
It's very tough,
Oh,
right? Because he
fuck,
went
that
from
is a
being
nerf.
unplayable,
Holy
worst god in the
shit.
game, to suddenly being, oh my god, he's so good again.
my God.
Every single match,
Stop
have to
this
ban
man.
him.
Now we're
Yeah.
nerfing
His
something.
ban rate between 10, 13, and 11, 1
Holy.
is like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's,
We are
it's like literally
back.
the chart is like a straight diagonal line.
Mages
It's
are
a
back
stalking
because they
dude.
nerfed
It's just- there it
Vamana.
goes.
It's funny. You can see how much those small nudges matter, right? Because
Yeah.
just like doing something like that just instantly like boosts. them up.
Yeah, it went from like garbage bottom tier whatever to like
Amy
lock
is
this or
back
ban
on the
this or you're done.
bench.
So,
So here's the thing. We could have just reverted him, right? We probably would have had him back to the spot where he was before.
Yeah.
But we wanted to make sure that this ult was still feeling like the duration was really still fun, right? Because that's the
Nope,
core, is you get to go
that's
big baby
definitely
mode
not how
and
you do
run
it then.
around
that
a
ult
little
is
bit.
fun. It's always been fun.
And we
That's
wanted
not
to
how
make
you do
sure you
it,
still
guys.
had that time to do those things.
If you want it to be
The
fun,
problem is that it just gives you a lot of free stats.
it should either be power
So what we're
or
doing
it
is we're
should be
taking the power down
lifesteal.
by a very,
That's
very
fun.
big chunk in the late game.
Okay.
You
because that
can't
tends to
have
be when it gets
both.
Online. I mean,
Yeah.
75 free power.
Now you just
especially after
nerfed,
the power nerfs
and
that
now
we
it's not
did
gonna be
come
impactful.
mid-season last year. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, that's
a lot of
a
power.
big amount of power. It's a big guy.
And also, we just adjusted his lifesteal on top of that up to 37.5%, but now it's going back down to 30 because
if you want the god to be interesting, you can boost him up with lifesteal
movement speed, so
and have him just be lifestealing.
You're lifestealing, you're going faster.
Or you can just give him a fuck ton of power and no lifesteal.
It's a perfect storm. So
exactly.
Well, cool. Glad to know that I can be stepped on a few more times before having to skulk back to base. Well, that does it for the god nerfs. Now, of course, we have the god buffs. We have who's on the docket to get a little stronger. Kicking it off with Hades, our dude from the underworld.
Yeah, so you would have thought, oh, lifesteal just got a big change to it. Hades is going to be good.
Yeah, he's on top.
No, I don't know how this happened, but he was not doing very well.
He showed up late for the lifesteal meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as it turns out, lifestealing against gods, when someone stands still and ults, tends to be
no one likes this god, man. You guys do this every year.
A little bit of extra help in doing damage back. So he's getting a 10%
They do this every year.
debuff on top of the protection.
It's the same god every year.
If they are blighted already. So if you blight someone, then you ult someone, they get debuffed.
My God.
So this is just adding on top of the flat reduction. Now there's a % reduction.
I'm gonna get one tap at the
this
end.
Increases his utility, right? Because in any role that you're doing, and if you're doing it support, you're doing it soul, you're doing it mid, wherever you want to play him.
Yeah.
It's always relevant to have that sort of 10% reduction. So I think that also increases viability in different roles, and that's kind of what we're aiming for.
Yeah, help try to give them the chance to diversify while still
really bad in the dual lane. Yeah, no.
I'm all
we
about
should
it.
definitely buff
I love seeing
the
people
ability
tech things
hunters,
into places where you're like, wouldn't have guessed that you could do that there, but I'm losing, so good job. So next up, Hebo, the splashy boy.
Yeah, so this is another kind of symptom of a couple of different things that we changed in the last patch, which was, number one, Bountiful Bow is gone, which means he's getting a little bit less cooldown. Number two, class passes are gone, so he's missing a lot of that power.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. He's back in the jungle.
Really focused around his early game and his farm potential, not really his fighting potential. So
what
you
going
see here is
to
that he did 2 buffs to water
Yes, sir.
which is his main clearing ability. The damage to minions is increased by 5%, which is still pretty significant considering that's
Hebo jungle meta, baby. Yes, sir.
And then on top of it, he's just getting a slight mana cost reduction
yes,
as it
sir.
goes up as well. So because you're probably leveling this first, I would imagine, you're going to be using that cooldown a lot because it's a 4-second cooldown.
Don't say you imagine, just say that is what you're supposed to level.
So the mana,
2,000 people watching this channel because you guys run it 24/7, so nobody watches it. Actually, when something burns on, they know how to level up the
Hebo. Had that chance to actually get to his items and not worry so much about the mana.
That makes sense. I mean, hey, like you said, with all of the crazy changes that came with 11.1, like a new year's worth of update, not surprising that the water guy suffered from the ripples. So next up, we have Hu Yi.
So this is a very interesting character to talk about because you would think he'd be very strong in a crit meta because his passive is you can't crit me.
Yeah.
But he just isn't able to keep up in terms of his clear. And it's actually very, very interesting to buff Ricochet because it has a lot of implications. If you buff the base damage, you start to get into the double and the triple bounces that people start to memorize, and those really, really skilled 2E players can take advantage of that a lot more than people that are just single bouncing all the time.
Yeah. So why is that a problem?
Be very careful bringing this up. So we are taking it 5 base damage.
Why is that a problem?
But the amount of times that you're using
it on
top of the fact that you can double,
fucking Michael Mouse over here is hitting fucking triple bounces left, right, and center. Who the fuck cares if Timmy's getting hit by him and getting one tap? Go position next to a wall.
So Jin Qian
learn. That's a MOBA. You have to learn.
This one might be the most or second most. It's hard to say because there's still some exciting stuff coming up after.
What the fuck?
Jin Qian is getting
dude, Reddit has ruined this. Are you kidding me? Just fucking let it happen.
Giving him a lot of buffs, especially around the
just let it happen. There's no more fucking Pro League anymore. Just let it happen.
Furious Roar. This is essentially kind of your anti-basic attacker tool that you see him use a lot in support to kind of stop the enemy ADC from clearing. We're actually shifting.
It's a pretty big buff on Hook Slam. The Roar doesn't do anything, but the Hook Slam's pretty big.
Starting at 30%, which is actually very, very impactful.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The Roar's not too bad. It definitely helps, but it's not too bad.
Of an auto attacker's damage in the late game, quite a lot. So starting it even closer to that number.
If you're better than Timmy, you can be better. Sorry.
Really, really nice.
That is cool.
But that's not even the craziest thing here because Hook Slam is getting a decrease in cooldown from 14 at all ranks to 14 down to 12, which is going to feel really nice.
Yeah, that's 2 whole seconds off at the end of the game there for one of the bread and butter. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I'm excited about that. So Cerberus up next, the goodest boy.
This one's cool.
Yeah, this is another one that kind of surprised me that he wasn't doing too hot.
2-second cooldown reduction.
Changes, you would think that Cerb would be doing well, just doing
Holy
passive,
shit.
the ability to keep up with all of that, but not the case here.
If you hit a
Actually very
4-man
cool new effect
jump,
that Cerberus is going to be getting on Soul Expulsion, which is his leap. So when he leaps onto enemies, they spawn little souls, right? When you spawn onto a god, they spawn god souls. So now, when you kill a god soul specifically, you get a 2-second cooldown reduction on your leap. So if you leap on a lot of people and you munch down their souls, have your teammates munch the souls, whatever it might be, and they die,
your
you
teammates
get a 2-second
can't munch the souls.
No matter how
Your
many
teammates
souls that there
cannot
are.
kill
So if you jump on 5 people,
the
you
Cerberus.
get 10 seconds off. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Souls.
Even. Dang.
Teammates can't kill
Small
it.
jump, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll happen.
No, it'll
teammates
happen.
can't kill Cerberus.
If I see like somebody tweet a clip
Souls.
of that, I'm going ham, dude.
Okay,
like,
but in a game. In a game.
Yeah, in a
Let's be
game.
clear.
It doesn't. Yeah, you can't get your friends to 5-stack in a custom. Like naturally in the world, you're playing your ranked queue, and that's how you win the game. Is you just leap like 2 times back to back because you got that cooldown. Bro, I'm hyping you up. I'm your hype man for that day. So.
That's gonna be cool though. That's gonna be interesting.
That's cool. And Zhong Kui is up next.
Yeah, do we have people that love Zhong Kui in this room?
Yes,
You
we
know.
Sheesh.
Zhong Kui is another character that kind
Yo,
of
this-
can turn into that lifesteal route if he wants to.
Yeah.
But essentially, we're just giving him a little bit of
This is
extra,
actually
quality
the
of life
stopper
style
to some of the hunters
changes
in
here
mid.
with attack speed in his base going up a
Or
bit, which
Shmeep.
is really nice with the auto
Shmeep.
alongside your demon bag, your little scroll buddy.
Yeah.
It's also going to be auto attacking
Scroll
faster.
buddy.
And then
Holy
demon bag,
moly.
his passive is also going down in stacks, but his protections per stack are going
That's
up. So kind of similar
crazy.
to previous changes, he's getting more value for less stacks.
yeah.
Yep. So get it sooner, a couple waves sooner, honestly, which is going to be really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
huge.
don't think a lot of people realize just like how important kind of the auto attacks are for his kit, because a big part of his combo, right, is always stunning people and then just kind of like chaining those autos.
Yeah.
Especially because we made it so you have the double auto like anytime now. So I think this is like a change that really like pushes that cool part of him that like otherwise maybe was just like a bit of the back burner. I think it brings it more into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And then with the passive. Change. I think that
No, it
definitely
doesn't.
makes it a
That's-
lot more
it's
consistent again,
after.
especially late game.
Of course.
When if you die and you lose a sack.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
He's gonna be crazy
bring it
now.
back up a little easier.
This
so
character's
that
gonna
makes
be
sense.
good
And like you
and
said, it's cool
frustrating
taking
'cause
one
you
of those
can't kill the
mechanics
god
that
early
you really
game.
want to be a spotlight mechanic, but
Impossible
maybe
to kill
wasn't
early
operating
game
as one,
character.
and giving it the power to become a marquee mechanic. So that's really, really cool. So next up, we're entering the danger zone. We have Kali, and Kali can be scary.
Where
to
are
me,
the other
so-
mage
Definitely can't.
buffs,
She
man?
grew a lot to when
she
she
did.
was super meta.
Come on now, man.
In the middle of last year, I want to say was like the last time
Time
we
is a
saw her.
construct. I have no idea.
It blows my mind how fast time goes.
Yeah.
But you know what doesn't blow my mind is that 1 second off of incense is going to help her a little bit. Not too much, but it's
Yeah.
going to be just enough to really feel that extra bit of control that you have as the Kali player
Yeah.
to make some more plays.
Yeah, just to get more done. So.
And those small nudges, right?
Yeah, and like you said, it's the small nudges, dude. That's the craziest thing about balance to me is like from the outside. Obviously, I've talked to y'all a lot. I've hung out. I've seen some of the process, but from the outside
Hades
looking
got
in,
buffed.
especially
Yeah, I know,
you know
dude.
having gamed a lot before I joined the company and got to meet all of y'all, being like, how is it that you come up with the idea of changing?
Hey, I'll
something
take Chiron
1%
buffs.
or
Don't
for 1
tempt me,
second?
Hershey.
That's just it seems so small to do that over and over again to refine things like that. It just it always boggles my mind, you know.
There are
So
some gods where you need to like change the impression of the community or the player base to really like get them to try a new god, but there are some that are just underperforming and need a little bit of help, but they are already popular, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So for those characters, the smaller stuff works where they just need to have a little bit extra help stat wise.
Yeah.
And you know, some of them need a lot more help, like Portion Check. You know,
See?
examples.
See, you come here, you learn what's changing, and you learn the thought process. That is like it's so cool to me. Like, yeah, I know I work here, but I don't always get to talk about this stuff. So I'm just going
This
on
guy
a
on the
trip
left,
here.
yeah,
Thank y'all
it's
for coming
dandy,
with me.
JJX.
So like it's Valentine's Day. I got to talk to the people I love about the stuff I love. So let's keep it going. I'll stop soapboxing. We got Horus up next. Our boy needs a little love. I know.
So Horus is a very interesting case because he's a warrior most often played in support.
Wow.
He really is, you know, designed to play in that role, but sometimes he'll shift into solo. You know, I've seen a couple of Horus mids from time to time, but when
crazy.
it comes to comparing Horus
12
versus the
health
people that he's
per level
typically linked
increase.
against,
Oh.
he doesn't stack up in terms of his health. We
Yeah.
noticed that he is kind of like
Yeah, JJ's
middle of the
pretty
road,
boring.
kind of higher end in terms of warriors, but it's just nowhere
Damn,
close to Guardians.
that is
So what we
insane.
decided to do is to push him up a little bit closer to
Genetics is
Guardians,
fucking bad.
especially in the HP per level.
Yeah, this is dandy.
A lot of extra HP per level and a little bit extra in the
This
early
is
game.
chaos.
So as he's getting towards that late game, he's going to have a lot more extra health when it comes to.
He's behind the
his
scenes on all
base
Smite stuff,
health
but
pool
he used to
that
be a
he's gonna
pro player.
Working with before items, but on top of that, Resolute is his passive.
Horus
a lot of people
is
don't even realize that
crazy.
this heals you.
Maybe
once
Golden
your
Blade
passive
Horus
attacks
mid,
wear
maybe?
off. And so this number was actually very
Maybe
very
I whip
small,
out Horus
previously,
mid?
because it was only 1 as a base. You were healing for 1 plus a certain amount per level.
Yeah.
Per stack on your passive, and so it just really it was not very much.
Yeah, Dandy's awesome kid.
Yeah.
10 health,
very
you know,
tiny.
and I'm like,
Very nice.
10 health in this economy? No,
In this economy?
that's not how it's
That
gonna
is
be anymore.
crazy.
He's gonna be healing a base of 4 per stack plus 0.8 per level, and all of this is per stack as well. So if you have a lot of stacks, if you've been getting hit a lot, or hit by set a lot specifically,
Yeah.
then you'll be healing quite a lot more, which is going to feel very, very nice for him to have that extra bit of sustain for himself personally,
Yeah.
not for the rest of his team.
Yeah, not for everybody else around him. Cool. So next up, the buff boy. We have Hercules.
Yeah, so you would have thought Hercules would have been really loving a lot of the
Yeah, the
hybrid
recent
kind of
changes.
shifts that we did
Yeah.
coming into 11-1, and he just hasn't really
Bruh.
kept up, and a lot of that is due to how
Another
he kind of
tank
falls off
buff?
towards the late game. He
Okay.
Am I
is
playing the same
very
game?
challenging in terms of
Bro,
positioning because a lot of
Yeah.
people have.
Am I
gotten
playing the
used to
same
different
game as
players.
these guys?
Character
What
10
is
plus years
going
old at
on
this
here?
point.
Yeah.
He
I'm
has
getting
the
ran
bread
at
and
by
butter
tanks and I
combo,
can't kill
right?
them.
And so a lot of times players will beads it.
What
or
is
they will
happening?
Juke it. So we want to make sure that in the late game,
I
when
can't
you're
kill
winning,
these
this
guys.
is feeling
Why
nice
are we
and
buffing
rewarding.
another
So
one?
the late game base damage is going up. The rest of it is kind of following along suit, but early game is
Okay.
going to stay exactly the same.
Got it. That was definitely one of those, like you said, been out for 10 years. As I was learning to play, the big brain moment of like just bait out the stomp and then walk one step forward and you don't get
the
launched
2
at them
best
anymore. I
mages that
was
are
like,
playable.
Genius.
And
So,
they fucking
it's definitely,
what?
yeah,
Did
you
they
definitely
buff
there's
the
been time to learn around it.
tanks,
So that's
man?
cool.
I'm gonna get ran up by
Nemesis
Horus
is
solo
up
and
next on the
hurt,
docket
man.
for the buff.
I don't
buff
want
train.
it. And
Yeah, so
I'm
Nemesis is
them.
another character
An
that is kind
anti-mage.
of in and out of the meta.
Yeah.
It really depends on who is relevant elsewhere.
That's-
But as a ranked
Bruh.
character, she just kind of falls off quite a lot.
Okay.
Because her
What am
ultimate
I-
is really team dependent. And also she just has not had the
What
most
is going
help
on,
in
man?
terms of her ability to kind of peel herself. She's got that's like her whole deal. Is she's got slows on slows and slows.
Yeah.
So retribution.
Yo,
her
Last,
shield
thank you
is
for the
going to get
raid. I
an increase in
appreciate
the
it.
shield health. Just a hair.
Thank you,
just to
thank
give her a
you.
little bit more help, especially
Yeah.
towards the early game.
Little that
to
edge
be
for
able
survival.
to use
What have you
the
missed?
shield on. a
Dude,
little bit
tanks are
more than,
broken, man.
just an
Tanks
ability
are
if
so
that happens to be the
broken.
case.
Tanks are
And then Divine Judgment is her ultimate. This is a movement speed
What
buff
is
for herself.
happening,
We're
dude?
just smoothing out this.
What
this
am I
kind of
looking at, man?
progression.
Hurt
It was
buff,
kind of this
Horus solo buff. I'm pretty. Oh.
weird relic of previous
Then
balance. where it was 10, 10,
buff
15, 15,
for another
20. We're
anti-mage,
just moving it.
bro.
It won't
Okay.
change at the ranks that it changed before.
They haven't even
but the ranks
touched the
where it was
mages, guys.
secondarily
They're
upgraded
not
and
even
got
being
nothing for it,
played.
You'll at least get a little bit of
Yeah, a nudge slightly higher.
The mages
That
aren't
makes
even
sense.
being
You gotta love
played.
seeing those curves smoothed out a little bit because, like you said, it'll make it feel a little more like a natural.
Can I get
progression.
some love?
Last but not least, we have come to the final
last
of the
one.
gods for buffs, and we have
Mage.
Chiron on here with a little giddy up.
Hold on.
Yeah, so Chiron's a very interesting god, right? Because he has been seeing an amount
Giddy
of
up.
success in mid, but
Yeah.
even beyond that,
Sprinkling.
he isn't super applicable to a lot of different levels of play. It's mostly just the people that are willing to jump into the
Giddy
fray
up,
and be willing
bro.
to kind of dive in. So
He
a lot
has
of the
such a
people
unique
that are
kit,
playing
and the
now
thing that gets
are
buffed is
trying to go
giddy
hunter,
up.
not super successful over in the dual lane, and his stats are suffering because of that. So this is going to be a small buff in terms of the actual damage of the charge
Giddy
itself.
up.
So, those players that do want to get active and get in there are going to
It's
be doing
been
it a little bit better, right? A little bit more damage if
62
you're actually hitting
years.
things, or you're clearing with
The last
whatever
time
it might be.
Chiron was
A lot of
touched.
times you aren't full committing.
And they
with
buff
Chiron, not
Giddy up.
diving over
Are you
Yeah.
fucking
but
kidding
when
me
you do
right
have
now?
to use this as an
Hello?
escape, it's going to be a
Bruh.
lot nicer because it's 70 mana at all ranks instead of 70 up to 90, which
Are
90
you-
is like almost the cost of a lot of ultimates, which is
Yeah,
kind of
that's
crazy for
expensive.
a dash.
He's
So we're
such
just
a
bringing
cool,
that down to
unique
70. But yeah,
character.
he's a character
And
that
you
we're going to
buff
keep keeping a close
Giddy
eye on,
up.
especially alongside the Titan's Bane buffs.
Oh,
like those kind of go
man.
hand in hand. Chiron
Yeah.
is can be an ability-based hunter as
For
well.
sure.
So we want to keep a close eye and make sure that he's not doing too
The
too well
last
over in
ability
mid
to
and
get
hunters in
leveled.
general, especially in that ability-based style.
It's the last
Cool.
ability.
And like that, we've talked about a lot of
It's
items and gods, and we've come to the end of it.
Why
So again,
would they do
as I love to say, we have the patch notes live. Go check those out if you missed anything, you need some clarity on something, because there are
my
plenty of good changes, some
God.
really cool spicy changes. Looking at you,
That's
serve,
dash
all kinds
cam.
of fun stuff. So make sure to check those out. We have more things to talk
kit
about
is so
before we get into
cool.
talking about
There's
one
so
of the
many
gods that we're all
cool
excited
things
to
that you
hear
could
more about.
uniquely buff about him.
We have
Like maybe
the
being
cross-gen
able to
pass
chew
talk
while
about.
you dash.
So for those of y'all who
That'd
missed
be
the
cool.
the first update show of the year,
Maybe
the
make your
11.1 update
ultimate
show at Worlds,
do
battle passes
something
are now
like
cross-gen
maybe make it
passes.
heal more
So
if you hit all 3
cross-gen
shots, or
passes are
maybe
a little shorter,
give
a
it the
little easier
thaw
to
thing
work
if you
through,
hit
but they're
every
showing
single
up
shot.
every
The
single
next shot
update.
does
You will
more
see a new
damage.
one of these with
There's so
every
many cool
update. That's
things
once
you
a
could
month.
do with him.
Like 12 a
And
year.
they're
That's
just
a lot
like
of
giddy up.
passes. And as the name would suggest,
4 damage,
each
last
cross-gen
ability
pass
level,
contains
70 mana.
cross-gen content. So the skins in those passes
Bruh.
you will have in Smite 2 if you earn them in Smite 1. It's just how it works. And to continue talking about legacy gems, like I said earlier, cross-gen passes cost gems to get to those premium tracks, and the gems are going to go towards your legacy gem like stack for Smite 2 or Mountain.
I love
for
my
some of y'all if
legacy
you're like
gem
me.
stack. Thank you.
So definitely worth picking
Can't
up. And there's
wait.
all kinds of crazy
Now
stuff
show
in
me
here.
now.
Not only are there the skins, and again, if it's a cross-gen skin, it's a confirmation for a god in Smite 2. It's like a bunch of little teasers every time we do an update, which I love. But there's also all kinds of cool stuff within the pass, such as a 50% off coupon for a chest. And it's not a chest, it's just any chest. You have 50% off. So that Hades skin that we talked about earlier, complete the battles pass, get the 50% off coupon, roll that chest, and get the new Hades skin. So a lot of cool stuff in these passes, and you'll be seeing a new
Show
one
me not, man.
every
Come
single
on.
update. So really exciting. So let's get into this particular update and start talking about the skins. Kicking it off with Gleaming Archer Hu Yi.
Yeah, I noticed you, OJ.
Yo.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah,
Are there
he
more
is
skins?
really purple.
He
But
is.
like purple is a cool
I
color.
thought they
so, like,
showed
I'm
the
down,
skins at the
you know?
beginning
Yeah.
of the patch notes. What happened?
Every time
What is this?
a purple skin shows up, I get to just come back here and be like, yeah.
Oh, does that
it's
mean
purple.
Hoyu's
It looks
confirmed
great.
Smite
I'm
2?
a fan of it. So absolutely great looking. And I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep saying it. Hu Yi confirmed. Smite 2.
Okay, the lighting in the card art kind of didn't do the gold justice here, but I think that this gold as well
Yeah.
on top of it, or even like
Rouge Hunters and mid, of course. Yeah, they basically
agree.
forced
I'm a
it.
big
I
fan.
kind of love this combo, but yeah, that card art was sick. But this, I don't know, dude. This is very, very close to being just as sick.
I agree. And you want to see something else that's very sick? How about this?
Why
in
do I have a feeling it's
Smite
gonna look
2?
really bad in Smite
Let's check
2?
out the render.
Okay,
Oh,
The
I love the
lighting,
emiss-
dude.
Yeah.
okay, that bowstring is
Okay.
really sick.
It is so sick.
Cool.
That's so cool.
Why does his
And even the
ankle-
arrows
look at his
have a
ankle.
nice little glow to them too. I
Yeah.
mean, he just looks.
He's got a
modern,
broken
you know what I
foot.
mean? Like it really feels like a character that you'd be playing in
His
some kind
foot's
of,
broken.
crazy futuristic.
What
game.
happened here?
Yeah.
Just the dynamic range is sick, right? Like you see how dark kind of the foot is in the back compared to like how bright the
bow's
bowstring
cool.
is. Like I
Yeah.
just love that dynamic range.
I mean, again, since the early Smite 2 inception, when they were sending screenshots to the company, you know, like people, it wasn't.
His ankle's
it was still
broken,
a
that's
work in
fine.
progress, and they were like, hey, here's just what On Her looks like or Shock looks like. Like the base skins early on were already so incredible. To continue to see them flush out how the lighting's going to work and all this with every one of these renders, I mean, like
So
it's
this is
just,
an in-game
it's a
render,
roller coaster
correct?
for every single one. And the roller coaster's not quite done yet. We have one
Yeah,
more
or
to
shit.
show off, and that's Gleaming Defender Ares.
Okay, all right.
So Ares is
Alright.
confirmed Smite
Crazy.
2 then.
You said gleaming,
Gleaming.
and they said bet.
Yeah. They said, oh, we can make it
This
gleam
might be
eye
cool.
for sure. Yeah, it looks absolutely incredible.
All right, let's
And,
see the in-game.
again, just
This looks cool.
I'm getting to this point where every time I see it, I'm like, all right, it already looks good in Smite 1, as you can see here.
Ooh, I
Oh
love
Gil-
this
wait,
one.
his
Gilgamesh?
skin is like He's like an elemental.
Yeah,
Why
that's,
does
a,
that look
that's a
good?
boy of
Okay.
energy. That's a boy of gleam.
Smite
Bro,
2 will
that's-
look really
that's
good.
Crazy. The
This
skin
does not look
sick,
that good.
Little halo sick. I mean, Ares has wings.
Smite 2 is gonna
Yeah,
look
I was gonna
sick.
say those big old
I was gonna
incredible
say,
wings.
The wings are crazy, right? I think the
This
shield
looks
might
like
be crazier.
fucking
That
Sandman
little, like,
from,
hole in the
Spider-Man.
shield is just
Yeah.
so cool with the little face motif too, and that's gonna breathe fire, right? So that,
Oh, you know it
that's
will.
even
Super
cooler.
well done.
And you want to know where else it looks pretty cool? In the Smite 2 render. Let's get over there.
Oh,
Bro.
All right.
Bro, this is a bad
Dynamic
picture.
range.
This looks
The
scuffed.
dynamic range. Like just the sheen of the sheen.
It looks a bit
sheen,
scuffed,
The
I won't
shiny
lie.
of the metal.
Yeah, it's a
I
bad
don't know what
picture.
words look like.
And the light. There's a lot of light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad
making sure
picture.
that like difference in terms of the brightest brights and those darker even brights.
Not the best of pictures for the
It
boys.
feels really, really clean altogether in this solid package. I think this is gonna be a
a bind.
really sick skin, man.
I agree, and I mean,
Yeah,
you're
this does
not
not
even
look the
seeing
best.
the particle effects and all of the different effects and the way it reflects in the world.
A
Not
fire.
the best of
The
pictures,
fire.
I would say.
So we'll get there soon enough. Last comment before we see it in game is I like how his sword is like a sword within a bigger sword. You know, it has that
Yeah.
hollow glowing area. So he's so ready. He's got two swords in one sword. Let's check this out in Smite 1. Smite 2 will come later. I know you want it.
Ooh, okay.
Dude, I love the way those wings move too. Like,
yeah, the extra animation for them looks really, really good.
Super smooth.
well, and they look like, despite being metal and ethereal, they look so flowy. Like, they still have that really natural movement.
Oh, dude.
I love it.
Why didn't they change the chains?
The, like, wispy light off the edges.
I like the little.
Why didn't
like,
they change what the
rainbow
chains look
flickers you
like?
get
Why are
in
the
there from
chains
time to time.
default?
Yeah.
This feels really sick. Ooh.
Surely that's a missed
And
opportunity.
You see, attention to detail. You use the ult. He's up in the air. What does somebody with wings do? Fly. You got the wings flapping back there.
That animation is super sick.
I
love
agree.
it.
I just the attention to detail is incredible on all of these. Okay, you're right. I see the rainbow was like.
They don't touch the chains ever
Yeah.
on any skin. Are you sure?
Oh really? Okay, that's so awesome.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Our team knocked it out of the park with this one.
When don't they? You know.
Well, that's true as
I'm
well.
pretty
They have to
sure they
stop knocking
changed
things
it
out of
on
the park,
the
because soon there's nothing
only
left
skin,
in
the
the park. They're gonna have to move
ice
park.
skin.
So, absolutely awesome. And again, both of these are part of the cross-gen pass, which we are excited about. Gleaming Valor, would you imagine, with how shiny
Looks like a
they
T5
were?
recolor.
Gleaming Valor is the name of the cross-gen
It's fine.
pass. So you can check that out along with all the other stuff we've shown off with the release of 11.2. So we've talked about a lot of things.
Show me
Talked
not.
about a lot of cool things.
Come in my
And
ass.
we're finally here. We're finally talking about
That's Knut
Newt.
triple
But
zero
of course,
subs.
before we get there, we want y'all to see this little video first. So we'll be right
Thank
back.
you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome with the tier 1 sub.
I'm finally here.
Why is the volume so low?
Pray I am not too late. We once lived in harmony,
we go.
grandfather, but I will not stand for this.
Boom.
Now you see me? Behold the starry night.
Sideways Merlin flicker.
From the heavens.
That's cool.
Oh, my darling. If only every soul could be saved. I am the sky itself. Crumble to stardust.
Kaboom.
I've spent eons watching this realm. It's time for me to take
All right, get me in
action
there.
as well.
Get me in there. Show me the nut.
Yeah, so excited. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time community request. And I'm super pumped to be here today talking about Newt and her arrival on the battleground in like 6 days. But before we do that, I'm going to welcome some new faces onto the set here. Lermy's been hanging out with us already, but we have Titan GGGG coming with us today as well. Senior gameplay programmer. How you doing?
Pretty good. Nervous.
Nervous? No, don't be.
Well, the last time I was here, I was talking about Set when he first came out.
It's been a minute.
It's related though, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the next time you guys have an Egyptian god, just bring me back. I
Yeah,
guess.
we'll reel you right back in.
Perfect.
So another person I'd like to welcome is chilling in the back here. We have J-Mac, which a lot of y'all already know. Most of y'all should know at this point. J-Mac, a staple of what makes Smite incredible, especially on the esports side. But here today, welcoming him not only as a driver
What
for
esports,
Newt to help
buddy?
us see her in game, but also as a member of the community team, kicking it with myself and Titan Isaiah. So welcome to the community team, part of the family. So I know you're gonna do a bunch of incredible work. So. All right, I
We're
can talk about
fired.
that all day because I love talking about the people I work with, but we have Newt to talk about. And it's again, it's been a long time coming, bringing Lore Lady into the game as a playable character who's been working with us for so many years. Like, talk me through the process of landing here. What got us to Newt and Smite?
It's just such an honor, you know, to be working with 11 plus years of history at this point of Smite and making a character that is so beloved by the community. I mean, at first we weren't even sure what we were going to do, right? We wanted to
Certainly, I
ensure
hope
that
that
year
they
11
show a bit more
began
Smite
with a
2
bang,
tonight. I
you know
doubt
what
it,
I mean?
Ryu.
So
I
initially
doubt
we were
it.
like, okay, we need a hunter character.
They released like one
Who can
thing a
be a
week,
hunter?
Ryu.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the community was like, okay, well, you know, a lot of the characters we've been requesting, one of the top ones has been Newt.
They released
Yeah.
they released
And
like
so
one
we
new
were
thing
thinking
a
about it.
month.
Okay, so we did a little bit of research.
Or a week,
Who is
sorry.
Newt to begin with, right?
Yeah, what's the
She
story?
is, excuse me, the Egyptian goddess of the sky. And so that, I don't know where my voice is going.
It's the emotions from all
Yeah,
of
all
this
the
working on
emotions.
Newt. Yeah.
It's reuniting with her.
Yeah.
I know, it's such a magical
On this
day.
day of
Moo-
love.
moo away.
Valentine's Day miracle.
It is.
Afro,
I
Afro and
missed it.
Susano.
Yeah.
It's Newt and Geb's time.
Wow.
But to
Alright.
get back to it here a
Yeah,
little
to
bit.
dive back in.
Newt is the goddess of the sky in the Egyptian mythology. She
Yeah.
is the wife of Geb,
Yeah, I agree,
the
Lord.
granddaughter of Ron. She is also the mother
Less
of
developer
Set, Iset,
stuff and more
Osiris,
gameplay.
and Horus. and also Nephthys. But
what a big bringing the family back together.
I mean, speaking of a big family, every star in the sky is said to be her child. And every soul in the universe she protects as well whenever they reach their untimely end or timely end, depending on the situation.
Holidays must be wild.
She is the barrier kind of between the mortal realm and the chaos of the space beyond the sky. So she will essentially catch the souls of the deceased as they fly up and away into the sky
That's actually
and guide them
hilarious.
to a happy afterlife. And she actually did that for Osiris when he met an unfortunate end due to a lot of circumstances and then was brought back. So she was a big part of that story as well. And she also is the reason that the sun travels through the sky. She is basically the basin with which Ra, the sun, will travel across
Two mages
and then
that could
kind of
compete,
transfer into night
nerfed.
and then come back out in the day
Yo,
and
what's up,
begin
Ram?
again. So she's the whole reason that day and night happens. So
Ram, are we gonna
when you said you
upload
really
this
looked into
fast?
all
You
the
think?
lore, huh?
There's a lot of
That
it.
is
I
a
have some
lot.
crazy
She does a lot of
reactions in
things.
here,
She's
Ram.
very,
I'm not
very
kidding.
important in the Egyptian mythos. She is kind of one of the OGs, you might say.
Yeah, one of the originals. Got it.
And she also, of course, is the partner to one of our longtime
Yeah.
I got some crazy
supports,
reactions in here, Ram.
Geb. So that is very, very exciting to come through. So Newt was requested, right? So
Taking
that's
apart your
about
PC,
Newt, but why
GG.
Lore Lady as well? Well, when we thought about how Lore Lady was portrayed,
I can give you
and
a fast
kind of the
thumbnail.
role that the Lore Lady played, she kind of was this observer for a very long time, and she would know so
Ready
much
for the
about the
thumbnail?
realm of the mortals, but she wouldn't really ever take part in it. And then when it went back to how we actually depicted
Bro,
her
who did the
artistically,
face,
it all
Ram?
just started to click into place, right?
Yeah.
She's this beautiful cosmic woman, and we were like, that it just makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go.
comes
Someone
together,
clip it.
right?
Creep,
Come
clip
together
it.
right now.
Where Newt is goddess of the sky.
Fast thumbnail.
She has a lot of elements of the starry night, and especially that kind of motherly nature that when it
Yo,
comes
what's up,
to
Goose?
her relationship within the Egyptian pantheon
Yeah.
and just to all of the souls in the universe, like just that iconic presence. Perfectly aligns, especially
Right.
thanks to the wonderful voice acting of our.
You're using the corn one? Yeah, but that's gotta be for AMC.
Yeah.
You gotta
12
use
years now,
that
can you
one
repeat that?
for.
12
Crazy. And
years?
for any of you
Patch
at
notes.
Worlds, we got to spend some time working with her. A lot of y'all got to meet her.
Yeah,
So
Creed,
Hyla's
give me the clip. I'll send
absolutely
it to him.
incredible
He's so
person.
wonderful.
If Ram's taking
I
part of
kid
his
you
PC.
not, as we were getting ready for Worlds, I worked very closely with her for the meet and greets.
You signed up for the
Every
content
time I
creator
said,
cup?
hey, we might have to
Sheesh.
change this.
I don't think
or
I'm
things
gonna
might
do
work
it. I
this
don't
way.
know.
Or I was asking, like, is there anything
Where's
I,
the
I
corn
need
gonna
to do
go?
for you
Oh,
to
I
do
was gonna
this to
use
make
that
you
one
prepare
for the
this?
AMC skip.
She was
or the
just
AMC game.
the easiest person in the world to work with. Every
Use
time
the
I was like,
sleeper
hey,
for
I'm
patch
sorry,
notes?
last minute change. We have to shift this or do that. She's like, no problem. Like, do I need to help? Are you good? Like, I don't know. It felt like we were
There you
just
go.
having fun and playing.
That's another
Like
one.
there was no stress, no whatever. It was
She was just so excited to be there, and I know that she has
Constant,
so
yeah.
much
It
appreciation for the
shined.
fans and the community. So I mean, thank you guys especially.
Oh, for sure.
For allowing us to keep with this partnership with her, because everyone just loves her. She's so wonderful.
Yeah, and for those of you who did get to meet her, I know that it meant the world to her as much as it did to y'all and as much as it did to us. So it really was.
Give me the
a
two
special
clips,
occasion.
Creed, if
So
you
anyway,
can.
I guess let's move forward. You
Hot
want to
friend.
see Newt in game?
Let's
J-Mac,
do it.
you ready to
Let's
go
see
in
that
game?
Newt stoof.
All right, well let's dive right in. Let's check out Newt.
There she
There
is.
she is.
Yeah, the
She
one of
really
me
just
sleeping
does
Creed,
embody
and then
that,
the one of the pog
goddess
face.
vibe.
Yeah.
And she is very tall as well. And as you'll notice here, she is standing on a bit of a platform. And unfortunately for her, part of her lore was that she was unfortunately separated from her poor husband Gibbs. So
Yeah.
she is not allowed to touch the earth, as a good kind of nod to that, even despite how sad it is.
Passive
I'm sorry,
meter
it's
isn't that
Valentine's
big,
Day,
that
but
is a
even
big
today, of
passive
all
meter.
days, she's not allowed to.
But hey, there's still love conquers all, and they've
it
kept
does.
going through it, so it's still beautiful and romantic. So
It finds a way.
It
love
does find a way.
finds a way.
And
You
it'll
were
find
right.
its way to the dual lane because she's a hunter.
Awesome. Well, let's get a preview
She
of these
fucked the
abilities.
rock. I have a
J-Mac,
chance.
Show us the full, beautiful display of heavenly power.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah.
All right. There's
There's a lot of stuff going on.
so many beautiful things happening here. For one, they look
Whoa.
amazing. So let's just get that out of the way. Well, I'll say that 100 more times. But I guess let's get into it. So first of all, you got to start with the symbols. Got to start with the basic attacks. So she has
This is
these
pretty
cool
cool.
astral basic attacks, it looks like.
Yeah, so she is a hunter, right? So she'll be doing physical damage.
Yeah.
And
She's a
she is going to be based
physical.
a lot around
Huh?
basic attacks.
Okay.
In terms of just how she is as a class, but they are rather beautiful.
Oh,
she
they really
will
are.
be pulling out of this wonderful.
Bro,
water
I'm
pot that
building
she
this
has,
Bruges.
and
Fucking
she is
day
typically
one.
described as
I'm
having
Bruges
this
up.
water pot as her main symbol.
Another
because
Bruges
it does
character for the
kind of
boy.
go
Don't
in
even
tandem
stress
with
it.
Being an icon of motherhood or the womb,
Yeah.
so it goes very, very close.
Don't even stress it. Another
Bruges.
Bruges.
Okay.
So we thought, what better way than to kind of pull these little starry objects kind of like a quiver out and then just throw them out. It is a very, very beautiful and elegant solution for her.
Yeah, well, and as a fan of the motif of space as an aesthetic, the trail of that auto attack is probably now among, if not my favorite, like auto attack trail in the game. That is so gorgeous looking.
Don't look at that.
So I'm
paying attention.
It feels like ethereal water.
It does feel like ethereal water. You're right. All right. Anyway, I could stare at that all day, but let's move on to the passive. The passive is called
That's with one
Flux.
picture?
What does Flux do?
So this is going to be basically kind of a soft stim, right?
Yeah.
Face on my
A lot of
finger.
hunters
Yeah, I
will
left
have
that
a
in.
stim in their kit. She
I
has a
left
different
that
kind
in.
of stim that we'll get to in a second. But
Okay.
how this works is that each
You have the
time
sleeper
she
one
hits an
creator
enemy
now.
god with a damaging ability, this is damage as well. So you have to actually do damage to them.
Gotta
to
hit
make this
them.
work.
Got it.
You get a stacking attack speed buff. You can
All
have
right,
up to
Light,
10
have a good
stacks
one. Thanks for stopping by the
because
stream as
you can
always.
trigger
Appreciate it. Good luck on your
multiple stacks from a
exam.
single ability,
Nice
which
early
we'll get into
exam.
in a
Good luck. Good
little
luck.
bit.
Okay.
But essentially, hit enemy gods with your abilities, and you will get attack speed.
Got it. I can get behind that.
Wait,
now
you
we're
have the
moving
sleeper
into her
one
first
created. I mean,
ability
I'm
called
sleeping.
Convergence.
Yeah,
Or
so
no?
this is
Oh,
the stim that I was mentioning.
All right, I'll just.
Okay.
If you could just toggle
Fast
it on
reclick,
for us here,
ready?
J-Mac, that would be appreciated. So as you can see here, she gets these two kind of little orbs beside her.
Yeah.
And so you'll also notice that
All
she
right,
has
flip
these
that.
awesome, this awesome back piece of these orbs as well. So what's happening is she's firing out 3 shots at the same time, and they're all converging into a single point. You can see how we got the
I
name.
get it.
And so how this is working is that she is shooting out, again, those 3 projectiles.
Yeah.
The center one functions as close to a basic attack as possible. So it still procs crits, it still
Okay.
procs basic attack items, it does all of that wonderful stuff.
Got it.
And the side projectiles do ability damage and proc ability items, etc.
That's kind of cool.
So it's a very fun little mix, and depending on how accurate
got
you
you,
are
Ram.
with these shots,
I got it.
you know, you'll get a combination of the damage as well as, you know, the combination
Oh,
of
Ram
the
and
effects,
I's
which is
Discord
very
is
unique
so
for a lot of
fucking
hunters that don't have
doomed.
that similar way to do it.
Yeah.
The other important thing to note is that this passes through enemies.
It's so
and-
Okay.
doomed in
It's
there.
piercing.
but it doesn't pass through walls. So you can shoot these at a wall, but they will get stopped. So a good way to, you know, be careful with Newt is that you want to make sure that you're shooting directly at him and not into a wall.
Yeah, fair enough. Nothing like being like, I got him, and then it just splashes off the wall, and you're like, oh, I don't got him.
Yeah, there's a couple more pieces to this.
This is
ability. I know
actually
it's kinda
cool.
Crazy.
Okay, keep going, please.
But
Is
as you
this?
can see
Do you
with her
think
passive
those
meter, we've
proc
got these
Bruce?
4
I
orbs
guarantee
that will
they
kind of
proc
appear
Bruce.
off and on her back.
Yeah.
So this is kind of
Guarantee
to
you
indicate
they
how
proc
many
Bruce.
attacks you will get at any given point using this one, because it's not a single like stack amount that you get for
They
the amount
definitely
of times that you
proc
shoot. You always
Bruce.
get one.
This
Kinda
character
like
is going to be a
ammo.
crazy
Actually,
Bruce
Okay.
character.
Extra
Got
ammo.
it.
You do get bonus
Okay.
shots. So you always get one for free, no matter when you use this.
Yeah.
And then you can also get up to 4 extra shots, which are those little orbs that you see on her back.
4.
Okay.
So as you shoot, you'll
You
see
have
that
5
they start to
shots
disappear,
total.
and that
Yeah.
will tell you how many that you have left.
Yo.
So at the end of this, you will have no more. But actually, wait, they're coming back. So how you actually get these orbs is that you have to basic attack things.
Okay.
It gets a little complicated, which I understand.
I can see those like the glowing stars
Yeah.
underneath the orbs there.
So
yeah.
the easiest way to track this is in the passive meter. When you hit an enemy god, you get 2 stacks. When you hit a minion, you get 1 stack.
Okay.
So each extra ammo requires 4 stacks. To get all 4
Holy
extra
cow,
ammos, you
this
need
character's
16
gonna be
stacks, so 16
insane.
basic attacks on minions, or 8 on gods, or whatever combination of the in-betweens.
Yeah.
To get all of them. And the extra other cool part is that because the center basic attack, or part of that ability functions as basic
Yo.
attack, you also
Get stacks while
get
using the
stacks
ability.
back for that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you'll see here that if you were to use that like full extension, you will still get those extra stacks back.
Yeah.
And when you're done, you have more ready to go.
New Bruce
really
God
cool.
hits
It's gonna be
today.
on cooldown.
Marticarus
So how am I
on
getting-
crack.
Why am I getting these stacks now? I can just wait for the cooldown.
Marticarus
We'll
on
get to that in a
crack.
second, but just keep that in the back of your mind because we'll get there.
Okay. The back of my mind is already pretty full, so you're
I got one more for you.
okay.
You don't have to use all of them in one go.
Oh, true.
You can keep some in your back pocket.
Really, you can throw a few out and then just cancel and
Yep.
back in the okay.
Yeah, so when you cancel this ability, it puts it on cooldown.
So how
but
am
you
I gonna
actually
know how many
refund
charges
all
she
the ammo
has?
that
'Cause
you
that
have
does not
used
seem
yet.
to
So if you
be-
never shot out your 3rd or 4th stack, you'll get them back, and you'll be good to go and be able to use them when the cooldown's up next.
My mind is too full. That's really cool. I like that a lot. And that's only one ability. We still have more to talk
Yes,
about.
the
balls
rest,
on her
I promise,
back?
are a little more simple.
That's fine.
So she
I
nuts
like
and
it
has
that
balls
way.
on her
So
back. Got it.
this is super cool. This is her second ability, Crashing
Understood.
Comet.
Yeah, so as you can see when J-Mac throws this ability out,
This
it's gonna
ability's
call
the
down a
nut
comet
hitting.
from the
Got
sky,
it.
and
Okay.
it crashes down on
The
the
lore
enemies
is
below.
accurate here.
Yeah.
So it does damage, obviously.
Balls on the
but,
back, nuts hitting the
getting
floor,
hit by a
okay.
meteor would hurt, and it
Here we
also
go.
would send out a
We're in
ripple
here.
around where it hits. So as you can see, there's 2
Okay.
areas in the ability here. The center
Yeah.
one, roots, The outer one trembles, and we're gonna lose Odin. He's gonna walk away.
Yeah, he's like, that was uncomfortable. I gotta go.
We'll get another Odin back to continue to be our test dummy here, but essentially, depending on how accurately you hit this, you get a little bit more CC and a little bit extra damage on top of that.
Yeah.
So this also counts towards flux again, because if you're hitting the center, you're getting.
I don't think Nut is in Smite 2. I'm not sure.
To get more extra stacks of that ability, so you get 2
that
stacks
is
of flux. If you hit it twice. Double damage, double stacks of flux.
Yeah, more attack speed. All right, well, that's super cool. Also going to be really fun to use in team fights because one person's hurting and the rest of the people are like, whoa.
Very unique CC for
yeah,
as well.
very unique and very pretty. I mean, again, space aesthetic. So we're on to the third ability now, Warp.
This one might be one of the most fun movement abilities that we've put into the game in a long time.
Yeah.
This is an 8-way teleport. So depending on whichever direction that you're moving, you will teleport 15 units in that direction.
Merlin on crack.
And you might say, oh my god, Larry, a blink? You put a blink in the game?
You put a blink?
15 units is really not that far. So what this is designed for is to kind of have a juke ability. Let's say like
very short.
Feet. You go, uh-oh, push my 3 in whatever direction, and I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Very short.
Catch me.
And the other great part about this ability has several. You might be wondering, well, okay, what's this extra circle around there? If there are enemies within the range of this circle, you will also spawn these projectiles that home into whoever is the closest god. There's 3 of them, and they slow as well.
Okay.
So they will spread out depending on how many gods are in that circle, and then the slow will also stack up if they get hit by multiple. It will prioritize gods and then minions, and it will only go to 3. If there are more than 3, it will pick the closest 3.
Okay, cool. So you're saying that if there are 3 people, though, each one of those will hone to its own different...
Yep, exactly.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Every combination is 2. One person's going to get hit twice. One person furthest away is going to get hit once.
How do y'all come up with this stuff?
I mean...
I like that you called it
him. He made it.
I like, yeah, right. I like that you called it a juke, by the way. When while I can see it being used as that, I can also see that as a you aren't running from me. I am going to blink you down. So
exactly, it's a little hard to chase with it just because it's so short. But if you really are playing aggressive and playing off a crashing comet as well, you can do a pretty solid combo.
Yeah.
Because that's not the only thing this ability does. Remember when I said to keep in the back of your mind?
No way, it has another thing.
One?
Oh, I have to dig in the back of my mind. There's so much. But
well, let's back up in front now, because when you use this ability, it also resets the cooldown of convergence. So let's say you've used your convergence, you've gotten a few extra stacks back, and now you want to use it again.
Yeah.
Well, allow me to just use convergence, and it's back.
Huh.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. That's really cool. I can already see you teleport across the map, you blink in, you convergence, blink into the fight, convergence again. The combos are limitless.
Yeah, the combo tends to be very much surrounded around this reset of the cooldown. So I'm very excited to see how players are able to manipulate the number of stacks that they get on convergence.
If you guys thought Bruce, Marty, or AMC was OP,
it's gonna feel really, really cool.
Wait till I cook your shit.
Yeah, and what J-Mac just did there is just so threatening looking.
My
you have this really wide
10-second or 5-second fucking dash
and then
cooldown.
You blink, you're slowing people,
and
you get
fucking
to
resetting
recast
by
that,
1.
You get to reuse that. It's just such a visual. I don't know. I'm visually in awe of how cool that looked because it's just what a threatening thing to see.
It's a lot of orbs.
Yeah, it's a lot of orbs. Newt, she brought the orbs. Too.
Yeah, I mean, all of the stars are her children, right? So she's got to be calling up on them for a little bit of help every now and then. You know what I mean? But that's not even the biggest star that we've yet.
That's not even the biggest of the orbs. Well, then let's get right to it. We have her ultimate, Skyfall.
So yeah,
watch, this is gonna reset the dash.
So
watch,
she goes up
chat.
into the sky. When she's up there, she's able to move around and aim a little bit, but she's got this giant black hole that she's charging up. Because another thing about space is that space is beautiful, but it can also be deadly. One thing that black holes are known to do is that they will pull in anything that's nearby. So if you get hit by a black hole, imagine you're getting pulled back into that center there. So you'll see that targeter has 2 different circles. The inner
Surely
circle
it doesn't reset
does the
anything,
damage,
guys.
and then
Surely it
after a
doesn't
short delay,
reset.
that outer circle is the area that pulls people.
Okay.
So that also does a small amount of damage, but it's balanced around, the pull is very powerful back to the center. You want to make sure that damage is a lot less than if you're hitting it dead on.
Yeah, of course. Man, well, here's a fun science.
This is how all flying gods should be made, by the way.
I'm sure if I am,
is they should fly like this and they're forced back to where they press 4.
You get like stretched out or whatever because crazy gravity. Pretty sure they call that spaghettification.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
I've heard of that.
You have? Okay, cool. So that's how spaghetti was invented. They were out in space and they dropped some wheat noodles into a black hole, and next thing you know. So
this ability was very fun to tinker with, right? Especially, I don't know if we're on restricted camera pitch here, but if we can ult and go unrestricted and take a little gander at the sky. Very quickly. I know I'm asking quite a lot here. I apologize. I'm pretty sure it's in controls. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's on. You just got to turn that bad boy off. Beautiful. Love. We're doing a little live.
That's what makes it fun. The live stuff is always fun.
And you can see the whole sky is turning dark. Look at that.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, like whoop.
Yeah, the other very important thing to note about this ultimate is that Newt will always go back to the location that she started, and she leaves kind of a pillar on the ground, so enemies will know where she's firing it from. The pillar goes very high up into the sky. You can see it over walls. You can also tell that she's ulting by just looking at the sky.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the map this will happen.
Ooh, I don't know if I like it always changing the color of the sky.
Because,
it's a bit of a
huge team pack.
A bit of a lot, I feel like.
Can also be very good for self-peel, but you also need to be very careful because they're probably going to be waiting for you when you come back down.
They know where you're going to be.
Visual clutter.
So I've been bullied in many a playtest because I went back down to where I did not want to be.
You were like, I'm free, but you weren't free.
Nope.
Yeah, so combined with the small amount of movement that she has, yes, the cooldown is relatively low on that, but you're not going very far. So you can buy yourself some time to get your teammates back to you.
You just ult your feet and then you one-tap them at the end.
It's going to be a little scary. So you might want to call up on Geb, a little bit of extra help there to get you out. She does need to kind of have this really big positioning focus to be in exactly kind of like that sweet spot for convergence.
Also allows her dive to be insane.
So all these things combined, if you really are a master of positioning, you're going to do very, very well with Newt.
And we've just seen the way that people have learned through this community. Like, people pick her up in PTS and it'll be rough, and then live and it'll be not so rough, and then a month into live and we're going to be seeing some plays that are just unimaginably crazy. So like, again, it's cool seeing a new kit with so much possibility like this, because playtests have discovered so many things, and then you pass it out to the entire world at large, the community at large, and just the stuff that y'all figure out is unbelievable.
And I mean, we can even talk a little bit on the tech side as well, just like all the really cool things that had to go into this, whether that comes to like the skybox.
Single for V-Day? No, I'm
that
single.
Ultimate, like, I'm sure you can talk a bit onto that.
I can try.
It's okay, crazy though.
Honestly, it was a lot of turning things on and off. Just like setting things to true, setting things to false. Surprisingly, programming, if you know what you're doing, not that hard, but you gotta know what you're doing.
I was about to say, see, that's the thing, because I technically spent a chunk of my life programming, and to me it was always very hard, because that's the struggle, is figuring out what you're doing. So like, it's astounding that you can say that, because from my level you could be like, oh yeah, just go turn that off, and it would take me 15 hours of googling to be like, oh, it's a slider in this menu, or whatever.
It's really about the communication though, because a lot of times, like, we'll
have the idea in mind, or
even, people will approach either of us really with ideas on how to improve abilities, and then we go, okay, well, how do we actually make this work, and how do we translate it? What do all of those like side cases look like? Are there really like small chances? What happens if you die during this ability? There were a lot of those that were very funny. We made a kind of funny joke out of a bug that we had where when Nuke goes in the sky, she has the black orb in her hand, the black hole. At a point, you were not ever losing the black hole, and it was staying in your hand. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm carrying around my basketball.
So they keep saying to check the notes when they're not out?
I made it sound a lot easier than it was.
Notes not out.
One of my favorite bugs during development was
surely the notes are out on the Smite patch notes.
She could just, I don't know how it happened, she could just permanently juggle someone for like 5 seconds and fling them higher and higher. At one point, someone got her got like an Odin in jungle practice on top of one of the walls.
That's crazy.
There were some very funny interactions with the momentum physics-based movement going on in the ultimate, so we had to make sure we ironed out a lot of those bugs before going to live, but obviously she's looking great now.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of my favorite part of working so close to this game, is sometimes a bug will pop up, and it usually lasts like a day or whatever. Like, y'all figure stuff out really quick because y'all are super good at iterating, but some of them are so funny to hear about. Like it's they just
I run
nuggets
into a million bugs a day,
so well, super cool. So again, this is Newt. A lot of cool stuff to look forward to. Of course, the skin will launch next week, 6 days from now, with the usual skins that you're used to seeing. So we're gonna start off with her first skin, your standard recolor here. We have the card art for it. Really, really cool looking.
The card art is very cool, I will say.
It's the normal card art.
She does look very cool.
Start off, yeah. This is just.
It's gonna be hard to top.
She does look awesome.
It is high.
This is the last character of Smite 2, right?
the people around here setting high bars. Like,
this is the last character Smite 2.
Like, everything about her lore and really ran with it. Like she's
watching
over
last
with
character
this
Smite
gentle
1.
gaze, and when she's talked about as being the
believe
sky
there will be
itself,
no
they
more
say
characters
that,
in Smite 1,
each of
right?
her appendages reaches from end to end of the earth, and she touches them all, and she really is just reaching out, waiting for the souls to come straight to her hand.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, so let's check out the next card art. Her, the standard recolor, the launch recolor, very pretty looking.
So beautiful.
Wow.
This is a very cool purple. I love as well, because we're kind of staying in the spacey theme, but going kind of like inverted a little bit, where her hair previously is a lot of blue and purple.
That's cool.
We're swapping it up, where it's a lot more light for her hair and a lot more dark for her clothes, which I love. I think it looks amazing.
That's cool. And I mean, I don't know if I called this out while we were looking at the model live in game, but her hair is just miraculous to look.
It really
it's so cool. They did a great job.
Yeah, it's magnificent work of our teams to make her hair as just, I don't know, it's space
Flowy,
itself. Yeah.
It's spacey.
It's one of the reasons I fell in love with Atlas, because he has kind of some space hair, but Newt's space hair is next level. Yeah. So
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'm pretty sure it's new-ish tech. I think it's a new combination of technologies we've done.
Like you said, with the raising the bar, we've gotten to the point where the bar is so high that our teams are pole vaulting for every new bar, and they're still hitting it every time.
Yeah, I mean, there was lots of new tech that went into just the visuals as well, especially with the flowing capes. I mean, and you could just see how beautiful they turned out, even the artwork itself. The flowing being impacted by which direction that you're moving, and just transitioning through those animations just so much smoother. It's gorgeous.
Shout out to the art team.
Shout out to the art team. All right, so next up
that
we
looks
have
good.
her
That looks cool.
Ascended
I like
skin.
that.
We have the card art for that here as well.
I just love it. It's
Yo, what's up,
beautiful.
Canuts?
Pink.
It's pink.
That's for my YouTube Canuts.
I love too though how you still have that border of space,
Canuts.
like in the depth of her hair, or in the
Canuts
crevices, and like the flowy cloak, or I guess I don't know what you call those cloak. Looks like a scarf a little bit, a tassel. I don't know what the word is because I don't know clothes very well. But just I love how you have space
New tech on an 18-year-old
into
engine.
all of those different spots, and like it's just unmistakably.
Whoever the
like,
artists are of these,
it's just such a
they are fucking insane.
Perfect for the
these
occasion,
look
right?
insane.
We keep going back to it.
That
but
romantic.
These are some new artists right here.
Way to bring it back. Now, you can't not look at the masteries too. You got to see the way the masteries look. So let's check those out.
It's just so epic.
The gold.
We've been seeing a lot of Newt when she's nice.
Yeah.
It's not always nice. She's gotta put on the bad cop role sometimes when her children are acting up. She's gotta put them in timeout, and maybe sometimes that timeout will be sending you to the grayscale. Prepare for that.
Little gray screen simulator, just a hair. Man, when your kids are acting up and your kids are the stars, how do you even deal with that?
You gotta ask Newt, man. I don't know.
I guess that's a testament to her power, because I wouldn't know how to do. I don't know how to deal with it when my pet rat acts up. I'm like, stop that, you. Let alone every star in the galaxy. So just another testament to her power.
I think it's the classic "Don't make me come up there" kind of line.
Do you think she has that?
Come
like,
up there,
do you think
huh?
she counts? She's like 1, and it echoes
Because
all the galaxy.
her god
and they're
name's
like,
Nut?
all right, she's at 4. We have to stop.
Yeah.
So, whew, that is threatening. So, all right, well, cool. We've done it. We made it.
We did it.
We finally get to talk about Newt, right?
That's so crazy.
Exactly, JJ.
Man, it's super exciting. And again, shout out to the lore lady. Like, she's just been incredible to work with in every way. Every opportunity we've had to work with her has been amazing. So Suhaila, you are incredible. I hope you get to see this, and I hope you know that we love you here. The community loves you, and you are a pillar of Smite. And yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I just want to thank y'all for coming out. Obviously, couple last minute announcements here at the very end. PTS should be going up soon enough. Just keep your eyes out for it. We'll let y'all know when the doors are open. Our Twitter should have all the info for you there. And the Dev Insight panel still going hard, still happening after this show. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that. You got to go talk, get your questions ready, read through those notes, so that when that happens here in just a little bit, you have all of your questions
At
in line.
the end of the day, they don't really care about the managers not performing very well.
What the thought process was, or whatever you want to ask. So as we wrap here, the last thing I want to say is stick around for a special message from the lore lady herself, Suhaila. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
Hello, gods and goddesses. It's me, Suhaila Elatar Young, otherwise known as the Lore Lady, otherwise known as, or finally known as, Newt. I am so excited about this goddess coming out, and that I am finally a playable character, and I hope you guys have a blast playing Newt. After 12 years of being with Hi-Rez and being with Smite, this is the best thing ever. I mean, everything's been great. Everything's been awesome. But this is really awesome too. I hope you guys have so much fun. And I want to thank everybody who made this possible. Thank you.
$27. Sorry. Anyway, what do we do, chat?